Give me just a second, YouTube. I'm about to go live on TikTok. 1 second. It's weird. It's brighter in my OBS than it is on my TikTok. I don't know why. All right, let's see here. Regime. What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth. And I'm back again. It is the beginning of the week for me. Sorry that I missed yesterday, but we're back on track today. Let me pull out my my chat here. What's up, y'all? Black Doug on a roof. What's going on, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. All right, let me come in. I've got to look for myself and then share myself. I'm going to share myself with everybody. That's what I want to do. All right, let me actually, before I do that, let me change my gifting goal to, let's get some goats, because that's pretty badass, you know what I'm saying? Been avoiding liberal lives, eh? Oh, why is that, Doug? They get on my nerves too, man. Liberal loudmouth. I'm the pariah of the Democrats on TikTok, so you're probably in good company, my good sir. All right, let's see. Sharing and sharing alike. We are live. And for the record, guys, we just started, so, you know, we haven't gotten, we're not doing anything just yet. I just shared it out to my peeps, to my peoples. All right, let's see. There's echo. And see, I did a recording on my OBS, and I don't know what the fuck. It did sound a little weird. Let me see. Let me listen to myself on the show real quick. No, that sounds okay. What's up, Chip? Oh, echo chambers. Oh, okay. I was like, I did a recording on OBS. It sounded like I was in a fucking concert hall for some reason. Let me pin this to the deal. And now I got sidetracked worrying about technical issues because I couldn't get my damn mic to work because when I left, I took this laptop with me, and when I hooked it back up, my mic wouldn't work. And then so I tested it by recording myself, and it sounded weird, like I was in a concert hall. Good Lord, it's fucking hot as shit in here, and I'm wearing a sweater. I may end up having to take my shirt off on the live, okay? All right, ladies, calm down. Okay, calm down, ladies. Just kidding. Don't worry. This isn't the nightmare episode, okay? I don't want to give anybody nightmares. The fuck was I doing? Oh, I'm going to turn the temperature down. That's what I was doing. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, see? All right. Okay, we got that. We're good now. Let me make sure that the invite button is on. Yes, okay. Everything appears to be working in working order. Let me check these comments. Yo, Jules. What's up, Jules? Let's see. What is up? I see your eyeballs. I see your eyeball. We won't tell your wife. That's funny. Hey, somebody's going to snip that, Jules or Jussie, and they're going to be like, what kind of man tells a woman not to tell his wife? Fucking, those people are ridiculous, y'all. So I had a longer weekend. Sorry that I missed the show yesterday, but, you know, I had to go see the wife, do, you know, marriage things. Let me, and no, by that, I don't mean it in that way. It didn't come out right. I don't know. Anyway, I don't kiss and tell anyway. It's my wife. Just stop. Leave me alone. If you guys are wanting on the panel, you're welcome to go ahead and join up. Because there's so much fucking shit going on now, y'all. I mean, it really is hard to keep track of everything. And thank you, by the way, for the boxing gloves and for the goats. I appreciate that. Let me give a shout out real quick. Wrath of Aries, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jesse, thank you for the Go Populars and the goats. Damn, 55 goats, 47 from Wrath. Lonnie, thank you for those hearts and the heart meat and the boxing gloves. Thank you all. Something that a lot of people aren't talking about is Cuba is in dire fucking straits right now. And I hadn't really seen this being reported anywhere because everybody's focused on the Epstein files. But they're like rationing fucking food and water and shit, hospital supplies. And I'm of the opinion that Donald Trump is going to starve them out. He's going to try and starve the population of Cuba out until they revolt and overthrow Fidel Castro. That's, I think, what he's trying to do. This piece of absolute garbage. And what's crazy to me is that they've stolen Venezuelan oil and now they're selling it to Israel. They're sending Venezuelan oil to Israel. This is, we're like the goon squad for Israel now. We go around the world and do the dirty work for Israel so it can have whatever the fuck it wants to have, I guess. Yeah, Lonnie, exactly. That's why they dropped the files to distract from the news. Yeah, because, guys, think about it logically, really. There's no way that those people, that Donald Trump would allow those files to be released. There's no way Congress would do it unless there was some kind of fucking plan in place. And, whatever that is, you can make all kinds of heads or tails of that. You'd never know, but I don't think it was because they wanted to do the right thing. These people wouldn't know the right thing if it came up and bit them in the ass.
Hi, guys.
What's up, Mix?
I'm sorry, I need help.
What's up, Mix?
I need help. My family.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not. I don't have time for that. I ain't got time for that. I'm just getting my show started. So forgive me. I don't know you. I can't vet you. I don't speak your language. It won't be long before we'll be broke too. Yeah, I mean they're just extracting everything that they can from us while we're all like digging through 3.5 million documents of something that's gonna turn nothing up, really. I mean, we see what it says. We know what they did. You got Howard Nutlick up there yesterday admitting, well, I lied. Basically, this motherfucker lied because he did go out and, with Epstein and have dinner with him. He claims it was with his family. What a loser. What a fucking liar. These people are just full of shit. Is Donald Trump going to remove him? No, because his last name is Nutlick. Innocent, no issue, but he isn't. Again, if you want to come up on the show, you're welcome to. Let me open up some of these stories here so we can take a look at it and talk about it a little bit. Because one of these, this video just kind of bothers me. They were reporting on how we're taking Venezuelan oil, stealing it, and then shipping it over to, I was doing the wrong thing, and shipping it over to fucking Israel. Here, watch this. Oh, hold on. It's got the wrong. That's weird. Okay, so it's showing the wrong. Oh, I know what it's doing. I've got to. Hold on. I'll fix it. Let me display capture. Display the other one. Do the other one. Maybe. No. Something ain't right. Something isn't right, y'all. Okay, hold on. Maybe this one? No. Well, that's fucking weird. Okay. Desktop duplication. What the fuck is going on here? No. All right, well, we'll just do it this way. Let me just do it this way. It's detecting the other display, but not my other display. So I'll just move it over here. Let's do it that way. There we go. All right. Now, let's take a watch.
Navigate the impact on both the global energy markets and the stocks related are the Price Futures Group senior market analyst, Fox Business contributor, and wonderful friend Phil Flynn.
Hey, Liz.
Wow, what do you make of this? This is a
Look
big
at how
deal.
excited
Venezuela
this
for the
fucking
first
loser
time
is.
in, what, decades shipping to Israel?
Historic and so great for America and the hemisphere, because what's happening here, Liz, is something the naysayers said couldn't happen. They said it was going to take years, and that President Trump was making a mistake for going into Venezuela, and it's never going to come back. But so far, in a very short period of time, not only have we seen shipments to Israel today, which is historic, but already to the U.S., and that's keeping these prices low at a critical.
It's so great for the United States. Do you hear the glee on this motherfucker's face? Yay! We went into a sovereign country and stole their shit, and now gas prices are going down. These people are psychotic. And you're talking about we stole it from them to give it to Israel and to ourselves. Like, well, Jules, we've sent oil to them, but we've never had the pleasure of stealing Venezuelan oil and forcing them to give it to Israel. Now, Venezuela came out later, but I want to finish this guy's fucking psychopathy here. Venezuela is claiming that it's not true, but it's being widely reported that it is. So, we'll see.
Critical time, because this tension with Iran normally would have pushed up the price of oil a lot more. Even more than we've seen. And it's keeping it under control. It's keeping market in a good trading range. And I'm really excited about this, because I think
what a loser.
Venezuela could turn out to be a new industrial revolution in this hemisphere, which could help everybody.
Oh, my God.
That is exactly what the president wants.
Oh, my God. It is literally just colonization. Call it what it is. That's what it is. We are colonizers. And, while we may not take the land and be like, hey, it's ours, he's going to exert pressure to where, you either do what we say or we come in and we steal you too, which is what he told the, the new leadership in Venezuela. This is really, really gross behavior, but, it is where it's where we are. And don't forget that on the 29th, Donald Trump put out a fucking, this is January 29th, an executive order. Let me pull this up. So weird, because I have to do it on the other fucking monitor. It's throwing me off. Right here. Addressing threats to the United States by the government of Cuba. They're the enemy. They're going to come and get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. I mean, look at this. Cuba has not attacked us. They haven't threatened to attack us. They haven't done anything except nationalize their own resources back in, late 50s, early 60s. And ever since they did that, ever since, their people, Fidel Castro, namely, revolted against U.S. hegemony in that area, we've sanctioned them. We have depressed their ability to grow, to succeed, to do anything. And we continued to do it. And now we've just cut off any oil that they were able to receive from anybody else. And just like we said after Venezuela, what did we say here on this show? Cuba's going to be next, fucking Panama, fucking Greenland. Maybe not Greenland so much now, but it's coming either way. NSWP Ignace Bernotas says that I am a schnazi. Ignace, come on up. Oh, did you have a request in?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that I hadn't checked my guest stuff because I was talking. Anyway, what's up, man? You think I'm a schnazi?
Yeah, you sound like a schnazi. You sound like an anti-Semite. What is wrong with Israel getting oil from Venezuela? Venezuela was a communist nation. Communism is bad.
Okay, so you can speak
You're
slower.
a colonizer. You sound like a colonizer right now, honestly.
Okay, so you think that it's okay to go to a sovereign nation and steal their resources to give to another country? And you call me the colonizer.
Yeah, because now they're going to get more money out of their oil. So their people are going to be free. You're against
Venezuela.
freedom.
Oh, because you wouldn't sell to this country before we have the right to go in, capture your president without any, rights because they're a sovereign nation, steal your oil, literally steal the oil. We're pirates at this point, buddy. And then ship it over to another country, and you're like, yeah, but they get a better price for the oil. And that I don't even know is true.
The Venezuelan people are happy about it, and the free market of capitalism globally is
okay. If you can't speak
so
like a
good.
regular human, I'm just going to drop you because that's annoying.
Okay, I can speak like a normal person.
Well, you're trying to speak really fast, but you're not doing a very good job of it because you're, I guess, not bright enough. And so you're kind of stumbling. No, it's very obvious.
Slow.
No, it's very obvious that you're trying to speak fast, but you're not doing it very well.
You're just listening slow. You should listen faster.
Okay, try again.
Okay, listen. Venezuela is evil. They had an evil regime. They were really poor. They had one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world at one point. Now they became really poor. So now they have a chance of success. And you sound like an anti-Semite. You sound like a Schnazi who supports Austrian painter right now, honestly. He's getting more and more popular right now.
So let me get this straight. You think that I'm a Schnazi because I oppose going into another nation and stealing their resources, which, is what the Schnazis did? You didn't think that went through very well.
You didn't
think that went through very well, buddy. Every other nation that they went into. What are you talking about? That's what they did. They went into sovereign nations and they took them over for resources.
When they went to North Africa, the North Africans welcomed them.
And see, I don't support Donald Trump. They put people into camps to do work for them, to get the resources, to continue the army and the military and shit that they were doing at the time. And guess what Donald Trump is doing, who I oppose. And yet you call me a Schnazi.
Well, those people were exploiting the nation, and having them work for once in their lives was actually beneficial to both them.
Having
and the
them who work?
Mostly Jews.
Who?
What?
It's not mostly like Jews.
Mostly it was Jews in labor camps, actually. Yeah.
Are you talking about in World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the numbers, but I don't think
so.
They
were only put in the camps during the war, so it was fairly just. The Americans put the Japanese in the camps as well, so I don't understand the problem.
Well, it wasn't right for us to do that either, was
Judea declared war on Germany.
Was it right for us to do that?
Okay, if white people declared war on...
let's
say what...
Okay, yeah. You're gone. You won't answer the question. You're interrupting. That's annoying. I don't even take that guy seriously. I think he's trolling. I don't have time for that. Lonnie, Chip, welcome in. Lonnie, go ahead.
Yeah, he was in the comments trolling. That's why
he's a troll.
Because he was expecting you to drop him after he said what he wanted to say. And when you didn't, you disrupted his, trolling. And that's why he couldn't keep up with the conversation, Yeah,
it's funny because you can tell when somebody just talks fast normally and when somebody is trying to talk fast, and he was trying to talk fast, but he was failing at it. Like, it was very obvious.
Right. And
I don't know what that is.
I'm glad he's in the chat, though, because the more he comments, the more it boosts your live out to everybody else. So he's contributing.
He's supporting Schnazi.
Let him sit down there and keep chatting. He'll get tired of it and he'll move on, But yeah, I came up because, yes, everything that is happening with them trying to colonize the Americas with an S, Bad Bunny had said in the Super Bowl. He named all the countries, and then those are the same ones they want to colonize, maybe more in the sense of what you're saying, strip out all the resources of the land, and devastate it. I mean, we know Trump did that with Venezuela the first time he was in office. So, I mean, he's just continuing on with the same thing, and he got people believing something and it's not true. And it's
and for Cuba, I think he just wants regime change so that our businesses can go back in there and take over shit.
Well, that's the crazy part, because I do remember when he got elected, he put out like 50 EOs or something like that first day. And one of them was, I'm not sure if you call it a memorandum or exactly what it is, but I do believe, my point is this: Joe Biden declared Cuba non-terroristic country towards America or something to that situation, and Trump went in and reversed it. I can't remember
Well,
exactly.
Cuba's never done anything to us.
Right, and that's where Gitmo is, right? So,
Oh.
but that's what I'm saying. Like Biden said that they were our friend, for lack of a better term, and Trump went in and versed it and said, no, now they're our enemy. You know, I'm speaking layman's terms here, not legalese politically, but that's the problem. Like, we were allies, they were our allies to a degree, you know, and he went in and overturned that so that he could call, you know, like they do, all those people, and I say those people. So if you're not a part of Trump's regime and MAGA, then don't take offense to what I'm about to say. But those people do that all the time, right? They make other people look bad so that they can turn around and say, hey, we're going to go fix the problem. We're going to go correct it. That's all they've been doing this whole time, even down to what's happening here in the United States and calling these protesters and observers problems and obstructors and interferers and all the stuff they've been saying. This is their MO. And so they got to make Cuba look bad. They had to make Venezuela look bad so they could go in there and take what they wanted to take, and everybody would go along.
And
they're going
to blame Cuba because, oh, look, Cuba is poor. It's because there's a dictator. We don't support dictatorships while they're over there sucking the ass of Saudi Arabia and other dictatorships. It's the dictatorships that do for them, and their buddies. Whereas Cuba's like, no, fuck y'all. But they're so bad that they provide health care to their people. And that's, that's why they're so terrible. Thank you, Lonnie. Chip, did you want to jump in there? What exactly brought you up? Was it Jackass over there, Mr. Pretend Troll Guy?
I don't know what his point of view is. I just wanted to challenge it because it sounded like he was somebody, based on how he was characterizing you, that you were somebody who, and this is the thing that I think people are frustrated with. Carrie Prejean, I think that's how you say her name. She was at a religious conference, White House panel, and she was saying, as a Catholic, she doesn't support the concept of political Zionism. And I think this is the problem that we're running into. Those on the side that are getting, I think, legitimate criticism for some of the actions of the government that they publicly support, they can't take criticism. They can't take losing control of the narrative. So they simply try to conflate legitimate criticism of political and military action with bigotry and hatred of people. And that's just not going to fly anymore. People are tired of being browbeaten. I can tell you, I've been getting it since I've been talking on this app for 2 years. But I think the public is catching on to this tactic where a small group of people who have vast, disproportionate influence.
We all know who that small group of people is that you're talking about.
Yeah, and listen, I don't mind people doing well. I mean, good for you if you work hard and you're smart and all those things like that, and you're disciplined and you take risk and you make money. Good for you. But it's what you do as you're doing it and what you do with the power once you get it that I think people are looking at. And so it's not about jealousy or hatred.
I just blocked the guy, by the way. He was talking about Schittler being right, and I think he's trying to get the live taken down. So I just blocked him.
Exactly.
He's probably a fucking Zio, been getting paid to come in and rile up Democratic shows that aren't in favor of what they do. Anyway, sorry, Chip. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, they have armies of people that are doing this now. They pay people in these big rooms to sit around and just find these types of forum and try to interject and play that game. But I think the good news is that with these things being more publicly known now, not only the financial support that the United States has given this, the nation state that purports to represent some or all of this group, but also just the sheer political impact. Charlie Kirk being prime among them, who kind of noticed. They call it the Great Noticing for a reason. This is a good thing that people are waking up to this now. But the thing is, people are angry and frustrated. They don't know exactly where to channel that anger and frustration. But everybody knows something's got to change because the status quo is unsustainable. Cost of living's going up. This foreign war thing we're doing, running up debt. It's just not really good for the vast majority of us. It does benefit a small number of people who have ties to this group. But even this thing with Iran, it's always the same thing. It's a bunch of wealthy, self-serving, maniacal people that don't care who gets hurt and what money gets spent, as long as it's not their money and their family, to achieve things that give them more power, wealth, control, and influence. And I think people are sick of it.
That's right. And this country's been coming in doing shit to the U.S. for a very long time. And like, especially with Hollywood, you know, those old conspiracies. I mean, it's bearing out to be true. What's that guy's name? Arnon Milchan? I wonder if 4chan was named after that guy. I mean, you know, it makes you wonder. Because a lot of the stuff that was talked about in like ping pong pizza type shit is coming out in a lot of the emails and shit that, you know, with the beef jerky and the pizza and stuff. So it's this whole operation. And I brought this up earlier about like the Epstein files being released in strategic ways. And, you know, I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is that they're trying to do, because if they wanted to keep that quiet, they would have kept it quiet. But them releasing it this way seems purposeful to me. I mean, is that kind of your take, Lonnie and Chip? Do you think that that's, you know, a tactic that they're using to try and like overwhelm the public with shit and keep them busy and keep them infuriated, and then to the point where eventually like people are just going to become numb to all this shit? And then just be like, well, there's nothing I can do about it, and give up? Is that the point? Is that what they're trying to do?
If Lonnie wants to jump in first, and then I can follow.
Yeah, Lonnie, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's about, you know, distraction and also normalizing, right? So we know that they're not going to prosecute anybody that they like that could be or that have been found to be in those files. They're just not going to do it.
If they're still useful, of course.
They are. They are useful, right? But at the same time, yes, they want to normalize this behavior happening and people being comfortable with the fact that justice is not going to get served in the way that justice should be getting served. Because if this was Biden's DOJ, then we know that those ICE agents for Peretti and for Good would have been handled immediately. Like they would have lost their jobs. They'd have been sitting in somebody's jail somewhere waiting prosecution. But as we see, they just justify their behavior by calling, you know, people criminals that are doing their constitutional duty. Right. So, yes, it's to help normalize the BS that they're using to keep people overwhelmed, stressed out, and distracted while they keep doing what they're doing. That's my opinion. Yeah,
I mean, because like, think about it this way also, because something I'm noticing, like it's a pattern, is all of a sudden now they're going after these apps. They're like, oh, they're preying on your kids with these apps. Fortnite, Snapchat, Discord, you name it. Yet this has been going on for a decade or more, right? Since really the beginning of the internet. And simultaneous to the release of the Epstein files, we start seeing this huge push towards scan your face. You got to scan your face because we need to verify your age because we're trying to protect the kids. Maybe that even plays into it a bit. They know that the AI surveillance world is coming, and this is a way to, like, I don't know, get people on board with it, even though it won't solve that problem. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things you can come up with. Obviously, to people in the comments, this is speculatory. Okay, and I'm not making any statements of fact. I'm just going over the things that I'm seeing that I think are interesting or worth pointing out. Chip. What say you, sir?
Well, if you look at the track record, they didn't want to release anything. It took an act of Congress to force the Department of Justice to even get on this train. And now that they've gotten on this path, they've done a little bit of releasing, but according to insiders, only about 10% of the really bad stuff has even been released at all. That's not redacted. So, you know, Pam Bondi made a pretty interesting statement. She said that if she were to prosecute all of the people who were involved in the case, that the entire system would come crashing down. Now, that's a pretty bold statement to make. And so you have to wonder, what did these people do? How often did they do it? What was the scale of this? And how many different types of people at different levels of power were involved? Industry, government, whatever.
Well, I don't even think that like the pedophilia. I don't even know that was the main thing that Epstein was doing. I think he was engaged in all kinds of different shit, especially when it comes to finance and currencies around the world. Have you read into that? And, because it's not just the child grape stuff that he was doing. He would have heads of state come to him asking him for advice on currency stuff.
Yeah, the amount of, the currency market's a little harder to manipulate because it's a decentralized set of exchanges and it's international currencies against each other. But the stock market and other markets that are less regulated, especially crypto, are very easy to manipulate. But obviously crypto's a little before Epstein's time. But we remember what happened on September the 11th. There was these insider trades placed on the airlines that, United Airlines and American Airlines, unusual options activity, they call it, where somebody bought put options, meaning they're betting on the price of the stock going down just in the days leading up, something like where the normal volume of puts for that particular contract was maybe $10 million. It was in the several hundreds of millions of dollars. So it was a magnitude of like 20 or 30 times normal trading. This is the kind of thing that I think the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world do. And that's the least egregious part of what they do. I think these rings are still going, by the way. I think that guy was just one cog in the wheel, a big one. But, and the sad part is that the United States government, and this, if you follow a guy like Ryan Matta, if you don't know who he is, he does a lot of documentaries on trafficking. The United States government is the most egregious party in all of this, not the standard government, but those on sort of the inside, the unelected side of the government that's the appointed, long-term administrative elements. They're the ones that are most involved in fostering this, no pun intended. So that's that's where our country is. We have a bunch of, as Rick Wiles said, we have a bunch of Kabbalah worshiping Jays that are getting our politicians and wealthy people to have sex with underage girls so they can screw America on behalf of Israel.
I mean, that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
I think that's what it is. I think it's hard not to see it that way. And again, it's not about railing on the ethnicity of the people. Again, it's all about the behavior and beliefs and mindset. And speaking of beliefs and mindset, I'll close with this. It came out in the files that there was this rampant amount of Jay supremacism where Jeffrey Epstein would say, and this is something that's in the Talmud, where it says that the Gentiles, the Goyim, us, non-Jays, are there to serve the Jays, that we have no real value, we have lower status, we're lower soul value. It
says it in their Bible.
Yeah, we're like cattle to them, and our only purpose is to serve them, and otherwise we're worthless.
Yeah, I mean, it literally says it in the Old Testament, which is the thing that they look at, like that they will inherit all the countries of the world will come to them and bow to them. Like it's, so if you believe that, and that has nothing to do with ethnicity, really, it's a fucking religious thing. Like, because they accept converts. So really, it's, anybody that wants to convert, I guess, and say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm sure there's a lot of people that did that. It's fucking wild. But you can go back, like they've had spies in this country for, like Milchan, for example. They believe, he had admitted that he was an Israeli spy. He was involved in fucking Hollywood. This dude's put on any number of fucking movies. In the hundreds, I think he's done, directed or produced. I'm not sure.
He did JFK.
Right. Yeah. And many other films. And a lot of people believe like the predictive programming shit has been coming from that group where they're like, well, we've got this plan coming in the works so we can, this is funny. Look, we'll tell them what we're going to do, and then we'll do it years later, and then laugh while they, are confused, and then turn into conspiracy theorists. It's fucking weird. Anyway, let me move to ISB. Welcome in. Go ahead.
Thank you. I don't know. You guys kind of jumped topics a little bit.
You can go back. That's fine.
I don't even remember. So I think it's files. We're never going to know. I don't think we're ever going to know. There are too many rich people in power that are going to keep it hush hush. I don't think, even though we want to know, and even though we should know, I doubt they're ever going to let it go.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to fight it tooth and nail. And other countries have these files too. Like, it's not like we're the only country that has them. So if they wanted to say something, they could also say something.
I mean, that's a problem with it being global, and it was.
Mm-hmm.
Still is. like Chip said, he was just at one cog in a wheel of many. I'm certain of it. They're very good at diversifying their intelligence assets.
Yeah. And then how does a high school dropout become this guy who has a seat at the table at like
because they're superior beings, according to Zach, who came up on my panel and said that they were just superior people, and listed the Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and all of the wild.
What? Okay. Yeah.
Bunch of white people. It's funny.
I mean, they're white, so of course they have to be superior. I don't know.
I don't see a lot of dark-skinned people from that area who subscribe to that religion. I don't see a lot of them doing this stuff. I just don't. Maybe I'm sure they exist, but I just don't see a lot of them.
Just to that point, Tim, there's a huge hierarchy. I'll just close with this. There's a huge hierarchy, even in Israel, where the Ashkenazi European subsection of this group, they think that they are the cat's pajamas and that everybody else on their team who is not them is like lower status as well. So it's even a hierarchy crazy within their own people.
Yeah, it's like the Ethiopian Jay gets treated like ass.
Yeah, totally.
But that's the same thing in every culture, though.
I mean, I suppose to agree. It wasn't always like that, though. Was it? Because they had in European nations black leaders. A long time ago, but I guess once the colonizers realized that you separate the masses and it's easier to fuck with them.
Well, we had black leaders here too so we did, and then Reformation started, and then because we had black people in Congress before. We just decided that wasn't okay. Or not people decided that wasn't okay, right? So then we had all this other bullshit that happened. Because those statues that are up, guys, they weren't up after the Civil War. They went after the Reformation because they wanted to scare people.
Well, it is weird to me, but there was a time in history when your skin color was not the thing that, people looked at. It was more of a class issue, rather than a color. But anyway, Butch, welcome in. What's up, man? Did you want to add something?
Yeah, Chip said something there. It was right before ISB came up, but I kind of slipped my mind. But it was in general, like I say, the Ashkenazis, like I say. What, have you ever seen when the Epstein files? Have you noted anything to where the Epstein files? When did it start? Did you ever see anything like that? Like at the starting point?
What do you mean, like the first document?
The first initiation into into Jeffrey. Like when do you think that began?
I know it goes back to at least 2003. I believe there's some in 96, but I don't know.
I know in the late 80s, okay, there was files on this in the 70s. So this is what I'm saying. This has been a long time going on, like I say, there's over 100 plus countries that these people are banned from. And it's because of the acts that they do. I mean, you're talking like either good, it's not good and bad, it's actually evil. And that's what all this will be exposed, because like I say, United States jumped on board. Everybody keeps talking about, I think it was June the 4th when they hit the Liberty. That was just a statement for them to say what they initiated back in 66 of December and got it up and running in January, that they are United States, what we give them, we're not in control of what we give them. That was the statement that they made. It took them 6 months to make that statement, and that statement was when they hit the Liberty. That what you give us, we're betraying you. And they had egg on their face because you don't give people those kind of weapons unless you have dominant control. And they trusted them, and now they opened up that door because of that N-word that they have over there. this is why all that happened. That was just a statement to say, no, you're not in control. We're in control.
Well, I have a feeling though that they've been doing this since the basically even before the creation of Israel. Because if you go back and you look at the J Mafia,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The J Mafia was a big thing, and of course you never hear about that. And they kind of integrated themselves into like financial markets and shit, whereas the others, stuck to the whole mafia lifestyle, I guess. And they were doing deals in this, in the U.S. even prior to World War II. And then, and then you get
World War One. The same people that we're talking about right now today are the same people that created World War One.
Yeah, so
these people go way back.
Why would you say that? I don't understand. So there's a difference between not liking what's going on in that region and what's happening, and then trying to blame them for everything from
they have
colonization
been on the planet Earth. They have been on. I mean, we've had to do studies just to do assessments in the government. You have to learn all this stuff. What I'm saying is they have been around since the beginning of time.
What are you even talking? So see, this is where it gets really conspiracy theory-ish. We hate all days.
Conspiracy. It's that you got good and you got bad, and the only thing that you can actually do. We're just pawns on this planet, and the bottom line is only thing we can really do is between good and bad is hope good is good is in control, because that is what it's always been.
But I'm not going to say that an ethnicity is the bad or religion is the bad.
I was about to say, if you look at it more from a religious standpoint, because and I don't even know, because I don't understand it either. When I was younger, I'm like, why do people hate Jewish people? I never really understood. And then you start looking into the history of things that continue to happen, like what people claim are happening. And then when you look into it, you're like, okay, well, there's these weird things that keep happening. And so then it's almost like you do a thing so vaguely and broadly that allows other people, because humans are going to just blame the group of people because we're stupid, and that's how humans are, and so then they can use that victimhood to then further hide and move about and do their thing, relying on that they just hate us because we are us. While they've come over here, stolen nuclear documents, they've, stolen our intelligence agencies, they've, sent assets over here to literally steal children and grape them, to blackmail politicians. You know what I mean?
But that's but you can't say that's just them. Russia does that. China does that.
It's not just them.
I mean, on a global scale, to this degree where they've latched onto politicians from all of these countries, I don't know of another group that does that.
It happens all the time. We do the same thing.
Wait, you're saying that the United States traffics children and then has other people in other countries grape those children? You believe that the United States engages in that?
Look at the Epstein files.
Right, but that was not directed by the United States. The United States was the victim of that. The politicians here were the victims of that.
What? I can say one, like you said that one particular J people, and to be honest with you, that's what they want, because really it is not them. Because to be that actually you have to have blood, right? Your blood. And Hebrew, Jewish people that I know are Hebrew, they despise these people because why? Because their religion was hijacked. Their friends were hijacked in Palestine. They are dead set against it. And if they get outed by the Ashkenazis, they're gone. They target these people. I'm talking Jewish. It ain't the Jewish people. Who do you think shut down the Grand Central Station?
Stop saying that word, Butch.
Which word?
The J word. Find something else, because this is TikTok owned by Zios now.
Right. I'm just saying they're they're the victim. They were, like I say, people that I know that are true Hebrew.
Okay, so people don't quite understand what I meant whenever I said that they were the victims. Israel sent intelligence assets into the United States to then get people who did bad things, no doubt, to blackmail them to suck the life out of our country. The progenitor of that was the other country. Now, did we engage in it? Yes. Are they the ones that put this in place and have been doing this probably for a long time? Because, I mean, Robert Maxwell wasn't just a nice guy. He was probably the Epstein before Epstein.
Right, exactly.
And that was an intelligence operation by another country. And we just happen to be the hub of it because we're the financial capital of the world.
Not getting off that subject, but here was something interesting. Out of all the different countries, like missing children, for example, like, your poor countries that are huge, they should have the most missing children. For example, like Brazil, I think it was like 26,000 children come missing a year. And different countries, it's like 45,000. And these people had like a 30 million population. Then when you get to India, they jump to India. India has 96,000 missing children every year. That's what they narrowed it down to. United States, the head of the helm, United States with the 330 million, or they based it off of 340, I'm sorry. We have 460,000 missing children a year. That's like 5 times what India has, which has 1.4 billion population. What's that tell you? They're working from this. We are the big cash cow for everything. And it should make parents it's just unbelievable. It has gotten to that point of missing children that, like I say.
But and again, people are still misunderstanding what the United States is the victim of what this other country did. We're being blackmailed.
Right. And who sold us out?
And our financial people, the rich people, are perverts, and they are not victims. They are abusers. But this country, our country, was victimized by another country who then took our shit over. Our government has been fucking infiltrated by this country by using a bunch of fucking creepos to do it, who also happen to be billionaires. I'm not saying that those people are innocent. I don't know why that would even why you would assume that that's what I'm saying.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So I just want to bring some full circleness to this, right? And I just want to say this, and I know a lot of y'all are about to get y'all panties twisted, but just bear with me and hear me out, right? We should be understanding that the fact that Black and brown children have been going through this for a long time, right? Like, they have been doing this to the people they had enslaved, right? They were selling off these children, okay, to do this very thing way back before 1900, okay? But it wasn't that big of a deal because it was the Black and brown children. And I hate to bring race up into this, but in this moment I have to, because that's where this blueprint started with the United States, right? That's where we go figure out why they're doing what they're doing. And then in the 60s, when, segregation and supposedly slavery was abolished, right? They started moving on to all children, right? That's why for the past, 60 years, children have been going missing and haven't been found, right? We see that even in those files, they have him tied to certain adoption agencies and things like that, right? Like, they have been doing this with children for freaking eons, right? And they want to try to normalize child marriage, because there was a time in this country where someone under 16 could be married off, right? Because We know Sally Hemings was not 18. And who was that? George Washington's wife? I can't remember at the moment, but come with me on it, right? She was not 18. She was an enslaved black girl that he bared children with, right? So this isn't a new phenomenon. The only problem that I think that is right now is now it is still going on, and everybody thought that it ended. Everybody thought that it stopped. A lot of people think it wouldn't happen in their communities, that people in their communities weren't like this, because y'all were told for eons that it was black and brown people who were the problem. And that's what all this wraps itself up into, right? The fact that you've been told for decades upon decades upon decades that black and brown people are doing something so horrendous that it justified them being treated this way. And now the table has turned and the shoe is on your foot, because they're doing to everybody in this country that is poor the same thing they have been doing for eons to black and brown children. And that is the issue that we're all having. And I just wanted to bring that up because this is crazy work to me. And with that, I land.
Okay, yeah, I mean, no doubt. My grandma was married off to a 40-year-old when she was 14. She ended up having 18 children. Well, technically, she had 21 because she had 3 of his children. Of course, they were adults by the time she started having babies. Well, Scott was in here. I don't know what happened to Scott. But thank you, Lonnie. Zio, welcome in. Go ahead. Yes, let's we're taking bets, guys. How long is Zio going to last on the panel before TikTok snipes her ass? Does it got 5 minutes or more?
Very, very delicate.
Go ahead, Zio.
We have to stop with the nonsense about, this is for you ISB, about calling out what we know to be true. There are a group of people who practice a religion who are the scourge of this planet. They're in everything. They control everything. And when I say that, people say, you're anti. Well, no, we're not anti. We have done the research. Every time you look up a billionaire, a CEO, and you go behind the scenes, they all have a connection to the little hat people. That is a fact. Now we're finding out that these little hat people, we know that they do all sorts of things to try to compromise people in high positions so that they can be in a power position. We have evidence and proof and facts of that. It is starting to come out that every war that we've been in is because of these people. We're doing their bidding. This is the United States of that little country. 1 second.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but let me play this while we're waiting. This is weird to me, and we really need to stop this practice, but not completely related, but interesting either way. Hold on, I gotta do some shit here. Watch this.
I call it the penis facial. A piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
Okay.
Who comes up with this?
Yeah. And this has been...
Yeah, and they're joking about it.
Yeah, like, we mutilated a little boy, and then we took the foreskin and we turned it into a cream for a rich person. Look, we're special.
And what the fuck? And think about this. In this government, in the 80s, when Reagan was in office, they wouldn't even do stem cell research on fetuses or babies that were AB'd because it was a moral thing that you should not do. Meanwhile, they're taking babies from all over the world and cutting off their wiggly worm skin and making these creams so that rich people can live a life of luxury and believe that they're going to be young forever.
It's soft as a baby's penis. Look.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
We have to stop with the bullshit and call a thing, people.
Yeah, it's crazy. And ISB, if you'd like to respond, go ahead. It's crazy. It's hard. It's a hard thing to swallow because I don't like thinking about it either. But
no, it has nothing to do with that. I don't believe that one group has the corner market on being shifty pieces of crap. That's all. I mean,
that's true.
Americans do it, Russians do it, China does it. Like, it doesn't, like, trying to blame it on one group of people, I think is short-sighted and probably going to cause more problems than not, because now people are focusing on one group of people while Russia has all our information and China's hacking into our systems.
Okay, so can you tell me about Russia for 1 second? Because I remember the first Trump administration, the Russia thing was a hoax. Russia wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't a hoax.
Oh, look, there
we go. Misinformation policy repeated. Damn it. How long were you up here? I didn't even check.
Not 5 minutes.
Well, I would have gotten some money. Damn, somebody send me some. I got to drop you, Zio.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
It's good to talk to you. We'll see you.
Yeah.
Every time, y'all. Every time. Like, she can sit up here and literally say not a fucking word and she'll get dropped. I've seen it happen.
I mean, if you're going to say everything has to do with people with little hats, I mean, come on now.
Well, there's a saying that goes like this, because it's not all of them, but it's always them.
No, but it's not true. See, that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So are you telling me that everything is their fault? It's not Russia. It's not China.
I didn't say the word everything.
It's not.
I didn't say the word everything.
But that is what you're really implying right now, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's not everything. But, okay, so think back to all of the major things that have happened around the world, like World War I, World War II, Bolshevik Revolution, Epstein file releases. Iran, taking over Iran, booming this country and that country, pager attacks. You go back and somehow, some way, you see somebody, JFK assassination. Guess who filmed the goddamn thing? Guess who filmed it? And then produced a movie about it afterwards and left out all the other viable conspiracy options that had something to do with the very country that the person that was doing the film and filmed the damn thing was doing.
Don't forget who got rid of Lee Harvey Oswald, too, Jacob Rubinstein.
But I can go and find, just like the Clintons have 40 people that have passed. So now they're these, I guess, like really shifty serial killers. Like, we can find connections to lots of things if you're looking for it. Like, you can do that. But you're not trying to say World War II is the fault of them, are you?
Why do you think the British amped up the war in World War II? Do you have any idea about what happened behind the scenes?
I don't. That is not what I'm asking you.
Well, you asked about World War II.
I said you are not trying to say that it's their fault there was a World War II, are you?
Real quick shout out.
What I'm saying is the escalation of the war was directly related to the influence that group had over the British government.
There's no
question about that.
It had nothing to do with the unaliving of 800,000 people or more than that?
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Right. What are you talking about?
You talking about them being unalived?
Yes. It had nothing to do with that, the escalation of the war. It was just because they said so.
Wait a second. When you say 800,000, who's the victim and who's the victimizer? What are you referring to?
I'm not going to say that, because if you're going to try to be willfully ignorant of what I'm saying, then that's...
Well, I'm not being sincere. I really don't know what you're referring to. I wouldn't ask you otherwise.
No,
I'm being totally sincere. Why do you assume my motives? Just answer. I mean, can you please provide context, please?
Well, look up the history of World War II. That's all I can say.
A lot more than 800,000 people died during World War II. Like 50 or 60 million people died.
I said it wrong. I did say it wrong.
Are you talking about the persecution of a particular group in Germany?
Of course. What are you talking about?
Okay, that was not the reason for the war.
Oh, okay.
Do you read any history books at all, by any chance?
Do you read any history books?
I've read a lot of history books about this.
The fact that you're trying to ask me what I meant by that means that you're being even insincere or willfully ignorant.
Well, like I said, tens of millions of people died in World War II. It wasn't just one group that was affected. I didn't know what you were referring to. That's why I asked you.
Please, come on now.
God, I just know a ban is coming.
I have no idea.
I just know a ban is coming, y'all. I can feel it. It's like a butt clencher. It's like, when's TikTok going to take my account for 7 days?
Well, let me ask a question. This is a fair question. Why did France and Britain declare war on Germany? Can somebody please clarify that so I can understand what you do or don't know about the history?
Because they invaded Poland.
Okay, and what was the edict that was given? Why did Germany invade Poland?
Because they thought they could and no one would bother them.
Okay, what was happening in Poland after World War I that caused the Germans to have concern?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, that's the point. So in other words, let's get back. And again, it all goes back to, everything is contextual. So after World War I, you know what the Treaty of Versailles was. Germany was forced to pay massive reparations and cede territory both to France as well as to Poland in the Northeast. So that was the area called East and West Prussia. During the interwar period, Polish nationals and Polish troops were viciously attacking and RAPing German women and German civilians, such that about 50,000 people were slaughtered. Over the course of about 8 months, the German government said, hey, Polish government, you have to do something to protect these German nationals. We lost the territory, but it's your obligation under your governmental duties not to let them get slaughtered. And they told him to go pound sand. He warned them. They told him to go to hell. He warned them. And he finally said, if you don't do anything about this, I'm going to have to come in and intervene. And he did. That's the reason why they went into Poland, not because he thought he could take the country. And he only stayed in that territory to protect his people, which I think is fair. You got German nationals.
How many other countries did he go into?
Well, I'm talking about the beginning of the war.
How many other countries did he go into?
Listen, you want to know the context. You asked about Poland. I'm telling you why it started.
I didn't ask about Poland. You want to go on this diatribe about something that has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
Well, I want to set the foundation for what happened to spark the later stages of the war. This is the important part about context that people leave out. They just say listen, the story that I got growing up was this guy was a madman. He wanted to take over the world. He wanted to get rid of anybody who wasn't white Aryan. And that's why everything took place. That is just not what happened. That's just not true.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Okay.
It doesn't mean the opposite has to be true.
Let's just move on.
But again, you're playing the third grade thing where we throw the crayons out the window because somebody, you can't talk about the subject. I mean, let's dig down into the depth of this. I can talk about
the subject, but again, you started it with being dishonest because you acted as if you didn't know what I was referring to.
You're assuming that I didn't know what you were referring to. I asked you sincerely.
Yes,
and you got all upset.
I didn't
know what you were talking about.
Hey, Chip, let it go because you're beating a dead horse here. I had no idea. You had no idea. And I'm sure anybody listening had no idea.
So when I said World War II,
it's all right. Let it go. ISB, let it go. Quit going there. Get over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you would have said 6M, I would have known what you were referring to.
I said it wrong. I said it 5 times. I said it wrong.
Well, that's fair. He was just, he was asking if because I also was confused about the 800,000. I didn't know what you meant.
I said 6. I said it wrong.
And that's fair.
I'm not trying to criticize you. I didn't know what you were talking about. That's why I asked you to clarify. Yeah. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it.
Yeah, it's fine. But we can move along because my butt is still clenched. I still feel like I'm about to get a 7-day banana discussing this stuff because that's what they do on TikTok. They're like, you can't discuss these things. I would just urge people to just try to get context for all situations because it's not as black and white as Chip was pointing out. It's not as black and white as it always seems, for better or worse. But again, that doesn't excuse what happened to this group of people at all.
Of course.
It didn't.
Right.
It just, in no way whatsoever would that ever be excused.
The statement before was that they're involved in all of that. And I get that they're involved, but that doesn't mean that they're the cause of it.
Hey, Lim.
Well, I mean, I think that's a fair statement. Do what, Butch?
Right. Back in the 70s, Reverend Moon, you know what I'm saying? Reverend Moon, they had the Moonies going around back in the late 60s, 70s. That was a big thing. All these kids were joining that cult, you know what I mean? And then the Hare Krishnas was another thing because the Moonies took over so big. And then the Hare Krishnas moved in too because they seen very gullible country here. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is what we're talking about here is when you go in, if we got invited to dinner, there always is the head of the group. And I think that's what you're saying. And when you walk into that table, if there's a table of 7, at the helm of that table, at the head of that table, will be that entity that you're talking about. They are the head of the helm. But I'm saying they're picking up anybody that'll join them. But necessarily, It's not all them right now, but they are the helm of it. You know what I mean? They sit at the head of the table, put it that way.
Yeah, and think about it in this way. 50, 60 years from now, the history, let's assume things go as they are basically, and and nothing is done and they're still doing what they do. The history will be written that, it's a conspiracy that Israel bought TikTok back in the 2020s. That's conspiracy. That's anti-Semitic. But we know that it's true. Benjamin Netanyahu got up and said that it's a weapon of war. Somebody who is a Zio and full on board with that government doing it, who owns a fucking company, came in and bought it. But this is how this stuff gets filtered away 60 years down the road. They turn it into, you just hate these people because of these things. But we're living a reality right now where you look around and you see, if all of these stereotypes aren't true, then why the fuck do you keep doing them? Currently right now.
It's crazy. Netanyahu and certain Zionists. It's not the entirety of the people.
Well, nobody said that it was.
Oh, some people on here are very much implying it.
No, I don't think so. The difference there, it's, I guess, in how you interpret what they say, but the problems that we see globally have this group of people at the top is not the same thing as saying every person in this group is doing all of these things, right? Those statements are not the same. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense to me because we're all on this panel and there's a few of us that don't agree with this administration, but yet the rest of the world is talking about the U.S.'s administration and how the U.S. is doing X, Y, and Z to the rest of the world. That doesn't mean we're all for the BS that the U.S. is doing. We just so happen to live here under this administration who is doing this BS. So they shouldn't be taking out on us as the individual. And they're not talking about us as the individual. They're talking about the government of the U.S. And I think that's the same thing that Lib is trying to distinguish between the two.
Yeah, just real quick. I'll try to say it as fair as possible. So it's obviously there's nothing is everybody. No group is a monolith. There's always exceptions to the rule. The question is, if there are characteristics, which I refer to as the operating system and the toolkit, it tends to be very similar, not exact circumstances, not exact locations, not exact groups of people, not exact regions from which they come, but there's a similar way of behaving among some of the group that ends up having a very disproportionate, in many cases, negative impact on many within society that rhymes consistently throughout the millennia. And that's why people point to it, because otherwise there'd be nothing to point towards. And to say that everybody's responsible for that is obviously not true. The people that like the Howard Lutnicks of the world, in the administration, and the Jeffrey E's, and a lot of the wealthier people that move the pieces of the chessboard and sit behind the scenes and influence the leadership of the Western nations. That's not everybody. It's the elite. But it is elite from that group that consistently behaves that way that people find problematic, as do I. I don't really care who's doing it. It just so happens that the negative impact of said behavior, beliefs, and actions, I don't want that to be a part of our lived experience.
So do you believe that has to do with them being of the...
Smile, I'm going to get to you next. But go ahead,
I'm sorry, Smile. Sorry, Smile. Do you think that has to do with that or the fact that that group just has more money because of the way history has been?
Well, money plays a role, but it's bigger than that. And the core belief that's problematic, and again, this goes for any group who thinks this, even whether it's people that look like me or other people, is that they believe that they are separate, better, and different than the rest of us, and that they're divinely positioned to take advantage of the others, and that that's their rightful place in the hierarchy. And that leads to behavior that otherwise is antisocial towards other groups.
Right. So do radical Christians, though. So I mean, you can say they're like any religious group that wants to be radical.
But and look at it this way: a lot of those radical Christians are Zionists, right? So they operate right alongside them, and they're not the same people, but they operate within that realm. So they are included in that group of people because it's not like one group of people. It's I don't know, some fucking superiority complex that this group of people think they have. Or it's like, we've got to, it could even just totally be religious. We've got to save this country because the coming of Jesus has to happen after this takes place. And the red heifer and and the this and that. So they're like trying to fulfill purposely prophecy or whatever. I imagine some people believe that. Fucking weird.
I think it has more to do with money and immorality that comes with people who are untethered by anything, that can do whatever they want because they have money. Then it has to do with a specific group of people that are related to a religion or an area, if that makes sense. I'm trying to say it's TikTok.
Yes, but think about it. Rich people can do a lot of things that other people can't do, but their morality will kick into gear in some cases. But if you believe yourself, especially religiously, superior to others because God has ordained you as the chosen person, you will view others as a resource, not other humans. You will see them differently. And there are people that exist in that way that just believe that they have some God-given fucking weird right that they can subjugate others. It actually says this in their fucking religious text, that they will lord over other nations. It says it in their Bible. It does.
It says it in our Bible as well.
Well, the Old Testament,
the Christian Bible.
The Old Testament is their Bible. And whenever you ask a Christian about something and you point out all the disastrous, terrible shit in the Bible, that's the Old Testament.
Right, but they're doing it because they don't want to believe that's part of the Bible. That's a different story. That's a completely different story.
Well, I'm just saying it grants them, that ability to look at somebody as non-human.
But I don't think it's that, because I don't think most of them believe in a God or religion. They believe that they are the end all be all. They can do whatever they want, and anyone that doesn't have as much money of them isn't worth their time or thought. I don't think it has anything to do with religion. I would hazard a guess that if you spoke to any of them and really knew them, none of them believe in God.
Okay.
It's about money and power. You treat people like that because of a power dynamic. It has nothing to do with...
I've no doubt that plays a role.
Yeah, it's about power and treating people as inhuman. It doesn't come from... I would hazard it, I'm going to tell you, if you knew these people when you talk to them, they don't even believe there is a God. They believe it's the end all be all. This is the only thing you get, and you got to do what you want to do now because no one gives a crap, and people are just there to be used.
Well, it can also be pretext where they may not believe it, but they have something to point to justify what they're doing.
I think what they're pointing to is
justification.
Listen to the way some of them talk. Like, oh, well, people who are poor aren't worth it, or people who are poor are just late. Listen to how they talk. Everyone who doesn't have money is beneath them, isn't as human as them. It's just the kind of, and it's not all people who have money, right? It's just certain groups of people that have money that have been.
And a lot of them they just happen to all agree that this country must be the leader of everything. Just interesting that it works out that way, right?
Well, that's because of the way we've positioned ourselves too, right?
Or it's the way that they positioned us. Through blackmail and other means. We've been going to war for that country for a very long time now. Like, we've been doing their bidding for a long time, and
if our politicians weren't doing nasty shit, they couldn't blackmail them.
Unless they had a religious belief in it and believed that their God dictated that they had to protect these people.
Well, right, but if they're blackmailing them because they brought little kids here, that means our politicians are little pieces of shit that were using children. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like if you just offer a child to someone, they're going to be like, woohoo. Like, they have to have that bullshit in their head too.
But it's carrots and sticks, though. They use this. They said this publicly, by the way. There was a forum where they were discussing the influence of their own people on our system. And they said, we didn't make the rules of the system, but we take advantage of the rules of the system, meaning that money buys access, buys influence. And then for those people that can't be bought, like the Charlie Kirks of the world, you then try to entice them.
Right now?
Well, let me finish. Then you try to entice them. It's an example. It could be anybody. Like Thomas Massey, he can't be bought off. Marjorie Taylor Greene couldn't be bought off. So then they try to find other ways to influence you or co-opt you or otherwise get rid of you, up into and including getting rid of you. So that's why they use that as an interim step to then control somebody, and then you can co-opt their vote and their policy decisions and get them to clap like seals when the leader comes to the country at the congressional gatherings. This is the problem. And again, it's not that they're the only people that ever do this stuff, but they're the people that do it most frequently and most ruthlessly for the benefit of a tiny fraction of society. And that's what I take issue with, not the people doing it, but the behavior.
Yeah. Now, real quick, Smile, thank you for being patient. Sorry it took so long. Please go ahead, man.
Sorry, Smile.
No, it's okay. I have an outside view. I was listening to this debate between Chip and ISB. So I've watched her stream before. And there are so many things I want to say, but I don't want to filibuster. So I just want to provide maybe a reframing, if that's okay with the panel.
Please.
How about this alternative view? The country that is being talked about right now is a client state of the U.S. in the same way that Turkey is. Not a vassal, a client state. And so what is a client state? A client state is a forward operating base for American interests within the Middle East. And there are certain things that go against American interests as articulated, say, by your dominant national cultural characteristics, but still is generally on your side and facilitates American interests in the Middle East by maintaining balkanization and control of massive petroleum reserves, which is, for example, why we have a petrodollar, why the control generally of the hydrocarbons over there are under American purview more so than Russian, Chinese, or what have you. So when it's framed as if it's a diasporic group that controls everything, to me, that's complete hope. I'm not saying they do not have influence, but for the record, if it's even allowed for me to have this viewpoint on the panel, I'm not American. We have diasporic group here too. They are one of many voices, but there is still a dominant cultural group within my country, just as yours, and that's Anglos. And so I find it weird when it's presented as if it's one easy out group, instead of looking at it as a larger American strategic context.
Well,
is it okay if I respond to that, Tim?
I would like to just say very quickly that I do not see the Israel as like a client state of the U.S. I see the U.S. as a proxy country for Israel.
Yeah, let me jump on that train real quick. And I'll pass the mic. There are symbiotic elements to the relationship where U.S. interests and Israeli interests in the region come together, converge. Obviously, with resources, shipping lanes, energy, that whole area is a very difficult place to manage. And having a friend in that area with similar systems and thought processes and approaches economically and politically are helpful. However, what we have to look at is what originates policy, what influences decision making, what leaders have what relationship with whom, and whose agenda pushes those decisions and policies. And if you look at what's happened in the United States since 1963, which is, I think, why the president was concerned about the lobbying process being such an influential aspect to the future of policy, Kennedy was very concerned that this entity that was registered as a local lobbying group, the American Zionist Council, predecessor of AIPAC, was not forced to register as a foreign entity, even though it's advocating on behalf of the relationship and or the foreign entity. That, coupled with their ability to have certain weapons, he saw that as a huge problem because it puts them in a position of dominance vis-a-vis the systems that we have as well as the regional power dynamics. So he was seeking a more balanced power in the region, even with favorable relationships with Israel still, but to the benefit of the U.S., but not to have such an imbalance as exists today. Now you have the Samson option, which basically says, if you guys are going to end the game for me, I'm going to take my ball and bang you all in the head with it and get rid of everybody. That's not a dynamic we want to have with our quote-unquote ally. If you look at it, by the way, I have a friend that served in Congress. If you understand how Congress works and you understand where the levers of powers are, it's not the biggest or the most money spent, but it's by far the most chilling effect on people's ability to navigate the political process. You're basically a dead duck if you decide to turn your back on these people and not accept their gems and their gifts to you, because they have the ability through the party leadership apparatus and their deep entrenchment in different parts of the economy and the political system to decide what happens to people, which is really unfortunate, but that's what we're trying to do. Listen, I don't want to get them out of the system altogether. I just don't want their influence to be that vastly disproportionate. Right now,
nobody should have that power.
Especially a foreign country shouldn't be given that much consideration. It should get consideration, maybe even more than others, but not to this level. It's sad.
Sorry, I have to push back there. I get your argument, but it seems almost deterministic, and this is where I call bullshit. Because if that was true, many people stereotype New York City, unless anybody wants to try to correct me, as being the mecca of this diasporic people, of the function of their power. Yet when Andrew Yang was trying to run for mayor, because he had voiced pro-blue and white country rhetoric, he was instantly shot down. That was from October 7th reaction. As well, too, the current mayor, who has themselves been radically leftist and such, and no friend to that country in power, has been able to be elected. So if it was so deterministic, how were they not able to stop obvious threats?
Well, because at some point people have to wake up, and people
the
are
political
waking
climate
up.
changed in New York City.
Yeah,
even people from the group who are more liberal and more secular decided no more, because what drove that election was not so much just this issue. It contributed the affordability hammer that he hammered on. People in New York are struggling, man. My brother lives there. I know a lot what's going on there. It's tough. People can't. I mean, you think it's bad where you live. Try going to New York and spend a month there. You'll be drained. So he banged that hammer. That's what people care about: economics, pocketbook, kitchen table. That's why he got elected.
I agree, but that's not deterministic then. You can't make a long run, overly deterministic argument that's saying X group has the control, because then I'm arguing to you is that in an Anglo country that becomes incredibly easy to scapegoat for problems that if just it was fixed. The problem, I'd argue, is more systemic and cultural. The US itself is an expansionist power, and frankly speaking, it is a British Empire 2.0. It's taken on different characteristics, and it has utilized a variety of allies, a variety of interests and useful idiots to be able to do things. And yes, with that country specifically, there's been an enormous amount of give and take. But there's also a Saudi lobby in the US. There's also a fundamentalist Christian lobby that does align with that country in terms
and yet, we don't have a single state that says that you can't boycott Saudi Arabia, do we?
That's fair, and that's a matter of the competition within the lobbying. AIPAC is enormously powerful. We all know this. I get that, but it's not overwhelming. It's not an octopus that controls everything. That becomes cope. And the reason I'm saying this to you, to the folks, there was a person who was on here earlier that when we were talking about Netanyahu said in America we shouldn't be held to the same standard as the leadership because there's a separation. I'd argue that's bullshit. In a democracy, you are responsible for your government because it is part of the process. So if your person is not the one who gets all the ballots in their favor, that's still your leadership. And if it's the other side, for example, 2008, 2016, regardless of gnashing of teeth by the GOP, Obama was their president. Because in a democracy, that's the fundamental rules. It's why it's not a totalitarian.
I'm not sure I understand your point.
Well, because when the other person before said that a country cannot be, like she was using Netanyahu, the person who was on the panel previously, and then said the world looks at America and they look at us and they're looking at Trump and they're not separating Trump away from America. Trump is America.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. That was to the semantics debate. Yeah, that was talking about the semantics of how people speak and the manner in which they speak. Is like the U.S. is doing this, yet not all of us agree with it, right? So when somebody says the U.S. is doing this, because somebody had talked about the little hat people or whatever, we were explaining to ISB that we don't believe that all of the people within that group are doing it. This is just the way people talk. That was that point.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Does that make sense? Like it was just it's saying we're not we're not talking in absolutes, because pretty much no one ever talks in absolutes ever. Like, it really isn't a thing. Even though we always correct everybody. Yeah, but not all women, not all men. You know what I mean? Like
for certain issues, for certain policy issues, it very rarely changes from administration to administration. There's certain things that are permanently embedded in our system.
Real quick, Chip. Zio, I'm about to bring you up. I just saw your request. I want to give a shout out to Lonnie for paying me for that over under on the 4 minutes. I think we got maybe 3.5 minutes before she got dropped. So we're taking bets again, guys. Crash App is in the bio. Just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah, the major economic and a lot of our foreign policy issues are predetermined regardless of. That's why, you can tell this by listening to an interview that Vladimir Putin gave. And he said, this is when Trump and Hillary Clinton were running against each other in 2016, and somebody asked him, hey, do you have a preference as to which leader you deal with. And he says, no, it doesn't matter. And I said, well, why not? He says, the policy is going to be the same regardless of who gets elected. So there really is no difference between the parties in a lot of ways. There are some differences in certain issues, the healthcare debate, but the core issues that control power, influence, banking, monetary policy, trade relationships, foreign policy, these change very little from administration to administration.
I did not drop Lonnie. So Lonnie left, but Lonnie is the one that sent me the $2. I was just trying to make a joke about it because I hadn't said thank you. But thank you, Lonnie, if you're still in the comments. I don't know what happened to her. ISB, go ahead, and then we'll get to Butch or Zio.
So, man, hold on, give me 1 second to get it back. But the thing is that the United States also, is it On a Smile? Is that what your name is? I'm sorry.
On a Smile.
Right.
Tell me Smile. Yeah.
Okay, Smile. So going back to what Smile was saying, like Saudi has a huge influence over us. That's the reason why we went into Afghanistan and not Saudi Arabia, when we know that they were from Saudi Arabia and we know that they have dealings. We're going to let Qatar build a building on one of our bases. If it was such a pro that country thing, why in the world would that be something that would be okay with them? So you have to understand that, yes, they have too much control, they have too much influence, but it is not just them. And that's what I fear, that when people start focusing on one group, they forget about everything else that's happening. We have a hostile Middle Eastern country building a building on one of our bases. Does that not bother anyone?
Wait, a hostile country building a base in where now? What happened?
Qatar, we are allowing them to build a base.
Oh, well, they're not hostile to Trump. They're not hostile to Trump.
Well, of course, but they are not pro-America.
No, but Pam Bondi did. She did lobby as a foreign agent for Qatar under ballot partners, for the record. So no surprise that we got a plane and we got this and we got that. So and they're very friendly with that I country as well.
Can I speak before I get dropped? And I hope this is a good way to make money for your live.
Take your bets. Place your bets, everybody. My shit's probably going to get dropped for saying that. It's gambling.
They're going to say
it's gambling.
Yeah.
Listen, we have to stop with this nonsense, IBS. And I'm calling you IBS on purpose. Listen.
Come on now.
What other country, because you keep going Russia, you keep going Saudi Arabia, how many of our Congress people go there and make a Mecca-like call to those nations every year? How many of our Congress people do that? Where those
people
countries
keep saying that. Where's the proof that ever happened?
Excuse me. I'm not finished. I'm asking, first of all, our Congress members go to Israel every year as a group. That is a fact. Did you not know that? They host our Congress people in that country. They had just recently 50 states, one Israel, some nonsense like that. What other country, Saudi Arabia, Russia, takes our Congress, our newly elected Congress people, and hosts them in their country? Can you name one?
And let me play this video real quick, Sile. This is the mayor, New York. Well, former mayor of New York. Listen to what he said.
Male Keys here in Israel. And as I finished, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you.
He served them
as mayor.
As mayor of New York.
And you know why he said that? Because New York gave special concessions to those little hat people in that country, where Mamdani signed executive orders stripping that specialness from them, because he wants all people to be treated equally. So what we're saying, IBS, is that what you're doing right now is you're gaslighting. Now, Chip and I always bump heads, but we agree on this one. Chip is a diplomat. He speaks with kindness in his voice. I do not. But yet your reaction to both of the way we speak is the same that a lot of Zios do. I'm going to
I'm not
ask
a
you, are you,
Zionist.
well, you sound like one and you're doing a very
Well,
good
I
job at
don't
being one.
actually. You are reading into what I'm saying. You don't even know what my stance is because you haven't asked.
Well, you sound like why are you putting on a cape for an evil, demonic group of people
I
with
didn't
this
say that.
ideology?
I
And
keep saying that they have too much control and influence. The problem I see is that we have to be careful not to put it on one group of people when there are a bunch of people that are trying to do things.
So what other country has infiltrated our government like this one? Can you name one? That's all up and through all of our politics. They have all of our media. Can you name one of? Can you name Saudi Arabia? Can you name Russia? Please inform us of that.
I am telling you just to be careful. That is all I am saying.
Be careful of what? Telling the truth?
No, focusing on one group and ignoring other
That's
groups.
the group, darling, that has us by the short and hairy.
And I didn't say they don't. You're not listening to what I am saying.
But why are you having this argument with people when we're telling you what we're seeing? Like I said before, we've done some research on this live.
Yes, and so have I.
We've done some,
and I am not disagreeing with you. You keep thinking
darling.
I'm disagreeing with you,
But
and I
now
am
you're
not.
crashing out. See, you're like the
No,
little
I'm not
girl in
crashing
The
out at all.
Exorcist, where your head is spinning around and you're going to spit up Greenpeace. Too.
No, this isn't. This isn't
listen,
crashing out.
I'm trying to say to you,
Can I say something?
I understand. We understand that there is a difference between the Jewish people, the religion, and Zionism. We understand that. I love the Jewish rabbis that go out and that they protest Israel, saying that it shouldn't be a state, and they get spat on by Zionists. I love those people. I just don't see many Israelis or people who say that they're wealthy out there doing the same thing. So I'm saying to 70 to probably 90% of these people who consider themselves the J group or Israelis are definitely for the Zionism. They're for taking over the world. They're for looking down on people and saying that we're goyim and that we're dogs, basically. They're for the Talmud that tells you could grape a child if she's 3 years old and it won't mean anything because her hymen grows back. It says that you can chop off a little boy's wiggly worm and then suck it because that's in their book. They believe that unaliving children that we see right now, that it's okay because they're not really human and they're beneath them. That's why these things are happening. And as far as the world is concerned, even in 1940s, I was told by someone who had a father who was in the SS, forced, of course, but back then even, Germans were going through a hideous time of trying to survive. And when the H-man came, he gave them hope. And guess who had all the wealth? Guess who had all the money stores and things of that nature? Those same group of people.
Well, there's a reason for that, though.
There is a problem around the world. When you hear them say, we've been kicked out of every country that we go to, why? Then you're the common denominator. What are you doing in those countries that those people get tired of you and they want to kick you out? And I'm going to land my plane, ISB or BS, whatever.
Can I say something that
This is going, wait a minute, Butch. This is happening as we speak. People around the world are sick and tired of them. Guess what? When they go over to places like Japan and to the other Asian countries, they're literally telling them to go home. Get
I
out.
agree
We
with
don't
you.
want Zionists here.
I
The world
agree
is
with
tired
you.
of them, sweetheart. They
I
must
agree
stop
with
doing
you.
these evil things.
You are crashing out for no reason. I agree with you. What I am saying is you cannot focus on one group of people totally all the time. Yes, they are the major cause of things. I agree with you 100%. The problem is to put blinders on to other things that are happening.
Okay, so Butch, let me say this and then I'm gonna be quiet. Wait, let me say this. Let me say this 1 second. So that means if Lib had cancer in his wiggly worm, but he also had gout, he also had taco breast. You want him to focus on all of that other stuff, but that cancer that is really eating him up, he should just say, okay, I know I have that, but look at my swollen ankles.
Nope.
It's not making sense.
That's not what I'm
We have
saying.
a cancer right now, ISB, and we must focus on that cancer.
And that's not what I'm
the most
saying.
deadly to us.
Using your example that you just gave, it would be silly for liberal to deny that he had gout or taco breath. That's the point. Focus on the cancer, but understand that there's still other things out there.
Well, I would just say that the priority for me would be to make sure that I had a supply of the little blue pill, because that's what's important in life. Just want to throw that out there. Fucking cancer, I don't care as long as I got my. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Butch, you wanted to say something. Go ahead, and then let me get to Smile after Butch, because I think Smile has something he wants to add. Go ahead, Butch.
Like Zio just said, like her cape, ISB's cape there, she put it out there. Like, don't focus on them only. This is her concern. Don't focus on the problem. Well, you got to be aware of the other problems. And Zio said, what is that? What other group? But she doesn't have that other group. And like I say, on the inside of her cape, she has Zio inside that cape. That is exactly who she is. She is a Zionist.
I am absolutely not. I have said the other groups before. Qatar, Saudi Arabia. I've
finished talking. Can I finish? Right there is the reason why. Like I say, when you do assessments in a room, you basically have two people sitting there, and you have them do nothing but listen. And I have been listening to you since you came up here. And Zio hit it right on the head, and she called you out. What is the other concern? You don't have that. You don't know what that is.
But I have answered it.
I'm not finished.
I keep answering it. Yes, but you keep saying something that's not true.
Okay, let's let Butch land the plane. But I will say, Butch, ISB has been up on my panel several times before. I've never gotten Zio vibes from ISB. I think I understand the point she's trying to make. I think maybe we're making a bigger deal out of what her point was than is necessary. But Butch, go ahead and land your plane. Go ahead.
Right. When you get called out, and I'm saying, and you keep pushing to look somewhere else and not focus on that. So you don't focus on the guy in the room that's got an AR-15. Focus on the other people. No, you focus on, like Zio said, you focus on the problem, because that is the root, and you got to get rid of it. And I land my plane.
So what I am saying, I think you are being reactionary to what I am saying. What I am saying is, do not ignore everything else. Didn't say don't focus on the problem. Like to Zio's point, again, it would be silly for liberal to ignore the fact that he has gout and taco breath. Understand they're there. Focus on the cancer, but understand there are other things there. That's all I am saying. You're jumping to a very big conclusion that is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that be aware that there's other things going on.
Yeah, well, sure. There are bad people everywhere. We get that. I appreciate that. Now, Smile, you wanted to jump in there. I think I saw in the comments you said something about an analogy. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, I have a spicy analogy that certain people won't like. So let me just preface this first.
Is it certain people that wear little hats?
Oh, no, it's certain people that are criticizing it because they use the analogy they did, and I'm going to use one back. I don't think they'll agree with it, so here's how it goes. First off, this context, I'm Mediterranean. My background is Greek. So I don't view other Mediterranean people as magic. North Africans, Near East, Italians, and all that, we're all the same. We have different variations on a similar world point of view. So if people who are from the blue and white country or the dominant religion, I don't view that they're just a different version. They're not magic. They're not evil. They're just different, okay? But one of the problems I had with Zio's analogy invoked the common thing about why is it everywhere they go, there's this issues and things like that. Okay, well, if you want to use that level of analysis, let me use one that you won't like. And I think we'll agree on how illogical or wrong-headed that is to analyze. If I analyze people south of the Sahara, I could make an argument that they are fundamentally intrinsically primitive, and therefore that's why life outcomes haven't occurred. If I use that argument, I'd be arguing to supposed results from one point of view, and then I'd be dehumanizing those people. But that's not the actual analysis. That's like saying, because, sorry?
There was just echo when I brought Andy up. I think you got an echo.
No
Go ahead.
So if I use that level of analysis, I would end up being, quite frankly, like a David Duke person who nominally is telling the truth, but isn't looking at the full story and actually has an agenda basis instead of trying to be objective in the analysis. If you instead looked and said, well, the reason that there are problems there are because of what other people did that you cannot separate out, then it would actually provide a more nuanced picture for why results occur today. So when the example is used that they're kicked out of our society, I don't want to defend because I cannot believe I'm defending this. I'm pro-Palestinian. I believe the 1968 Accord is the actual basis for a long-lasting peace. But when you use the analogy that you did, I feel like you're playing like Pontius Pilate, trying to wash your hands and saying that there's other people, they're the reasons for it. No, your nation collectively over decades, through your political process, have chosen to affirm or pedestalize certain groups and certain interest groups when other comparable democracies have not to the same level.
Okay,
May I respond very quickly to that, because that was a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood much of it.
I understand what he's trying to do, but let's go back to the sub-Saharan African situation because of the conditions that those people are in. Let me just say this for the record. It is because of the little hat people, a lot of them, that a lot of those people are in the positions that they are in, doing the trade and things of that nature, where they had the boats and they did all the monies and things of that nature. You're trying to sound like you're intelligent, but one group is a victim. The other group is the victimizer. They are always in every country on this planet doing things to victimize other people because they think they're superior human beings.
Explain China then.
Excuse me, that is the difference. You're talking about people who've been victimized because of people that you're trying to defend and their actions. Everywhere they go, they are always thrown out. That's because of what they do, not what's done to them. That's the difference.
So your analysis is basically a conspiracy theory that it's always people of certain hats that are doing it. And so I put a pressure to you. If you actually take a long-term historical view, explain China then.
What about China?
Oh, I don't know. The fact that until recently, in the last 5 centuries, China was a preeminent civilization on this world, that they were hundreds and hundreds of years ahead of any other Western civilization. And they haven't had the same issue that you're trying to talk about. So my point to you, again, Zio, is that it's your system and your structure that elevates certain groups that you're complaining about. And you're blaming the groups, which, by the way, they have choice of what they're doing. But your structure and system allows it when other democracies don't have the same problem. So it becomes cope. And that's why I use the analogy that I did before.
Wait, it's cope to point out that a country has, and just because what sparked this whole conversation was the Epstein files, where they used an agent to go in and blackmail politicians by getting the pervy nature of some of these men and having them grape children. And you're talking about cope? I don't understand.
No. I'm responding directly to Zio's call out. I don't agree with ISB, but I'm responding to Zio's reasoning and what was being used. And my pushback is, when you're claiming that everything is the little hat people's fault, okay, they have a responsibility for quite a few things. But when it's other people, aka Anglos, aka Anglo countries, that are actually doing a lot of the horrific shit in the world, but it's easy to otherize where the cause of this is. Oh, I swear to God, it's not us. It's these other people. That's what I find bullshit.
Okay, I guess I don't really understand what it is that you're trying to say.
No one does. Because
I'm not really. Yeah, because okay, look, this conversation began from the things that we know Israel is currently doing, like using walkie-talkies and pagers to blow people up. They are surveilling entire groups of people. They have blockaded a group of people. They're now committing a genocide against them. They have infiltrated our government. They've taken our politicians to the point where every time a vote comes up of whether we're going to give them weapons or not, despite this fucking genocide being against the law to fund somebody committing a genocide, they all fucking vote for them. So we know that they've been taken. And now we've got this release of documents showing that for the last probably fucking nearly 100 years, this nation has been ingratiating itself into us via financial markets and or blackmail markets and or you name it, some kind of blackmail. And so I don't really understand like what it is that
can I sharpen it or can I land? I can actually make it easier than I understand if you're interested. Okay, here's the thing. Ready? The e-files are a revelation of something that's still probably going on today with people we don't have a name for. This has been going on for a long time. This is the one time regular people get to see that, yes, this has occurred. That person, Mr. E, was obviously, I think it's obviously tied to the blue and white country. 100%. It's, as has been argued in intelligence things, both Russians and them specialize in doing that. Would you agree with me?
I'm not sure about Russians, but I'm certain with the blue and white. I mean,
okay,
Russians do.
I will believe you, but I haven't looked into it, so I can't say for sure.
All of the arguments you made before about what they are doing, which they are doing G-side and such. Are they doing it independent of the fact that they have the U.S. backing them the whole time? Do you think they would still do it if the U.S. tomorrow decided to say, Inshallah, I am going to support let's say a new Nasser in Egypt, some pan-Arabic? I'm going to back them and I'm going to cut off all support. Do you think the blue and white nation would continue being able to do any of that?
Except you've actually characterized this incorrectly, because it wasn't that the United States chose to do this. It was that country came in and stole our politicians.
But they're not stealing
and then
them
did it themselves.
Willingly. But if they go willingly, it's not stealing them. I think
whatever. But this again goes back to the people that we were talking about. So this wasn't like a matter of choice. This was we've got to protect
something about our culture that we're not honest. It says something about our culture that our politicians are blackmailed so easily.
Wait, American culture?
No honor among themselves at all.
Right. So that's the point that he was trying to make. So like, I think it was Zio or maybe it was Butch that was saying, if they go to other countries such as Japan or whatever, they tell them to get the hell out and they kick them out. How come America didn't do that?
America is full of a bunch of Europeans that came over here believing themselves dominant to everything else. And they never sloughed that off. We've seen European nations now kind of progress out of that to some degree, although we see the pushback with any refugees of color coming in there, causing them to freak out, so they haven't completely gotten rid of their supremacist views. So you're talking about a group of European colonizers in America, and we've been colonizing. And then guess what happened to create Israel? It was a colonization, and that's what this is. But this country has been engaging in this crazy shit, different from other nations, in order to effectuate some fucking prophecy written out in the goddamn Bible where they control everything.
Really quickly,
that is where I think that, like, I've been listening to y'all's conversation, and I do think when we say things like our politicians were stolen, they weren't, they were bought. We need to use the correct verbiage. Bought and sold. Because when we say stolen, we're taking away our own responsibility in this fiasco.
Okay, well, if you're worried about semantics, then maybe you don't take it as seriously as you should.
Let me use the better term is co-opted. There's different ways to co-opt people. You can do it with money, you can do it with bribery, you can do it with other tools, threatening them. They're co-opted so that they're not doing things that are necessarily in the best interest of the constituency that votes them into power, but they're doing it for others. And that's our problem. And that's not unique to Israel, by the way. That is endemic to the entire system. But in terms of some of the most impactful decisions that get made, especially about, I was a soldier. I went into one of these damn wars. I got a lot of lingering health effects from being there. I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying my life has been directly impacted by the influence of these people over our government's decisions that has had a direct impact on the lives of my friends and myself. And that's where I find the issue. We don't want to have any small group of 1% of people having vast, disproportionate, and undue influence using all sorts of horrific tactics to achieve that.
And I don't think anyone disagrees with that. What I think the point that people are missing is that If this was so easy for them to do, they would have done it in every other country, correct? That is the point.
They do it as much as they can, as often as they can.
Wait,
I agree with you. I agree. The point is that the United States, for whatever reason, has a fucking problem with not being able to say no. And the fact that our politicians can be blackmailed because they touch little children or because they do other things means that we have a problem in the United States.
Of course we do. We've had a problem in this country ever since it was colonized. From day one.
I agree with you.
But see, when we say things like victim and we say things like stolen, we are
get out of here with that.
Wiping away our accountability.
Get out of here with that.
Actually, semantics do matter, but because accountability matters.
Get out of here with that.
Accountable for the sins they commit.
You're okay. So we're talking about people who are raping children. You're over here like worried about the fact that people were being blackmailed, and I pointed this out.
Responsibility for those children, yes.
I didn't do shit. I won't take responsibility for something somebody else does, Andy. But what I will do is call these fuckers out and say they ought to be taken down to the fucking Central Square and taken care of as we used to do. That's what we have to do.
Nobody's saying that you, liberal, nobody's saying that you personally should. We're saying that as a country, that we need to look at the fact that our politicians are inclusive in this problem.
No shit.
But the way it sounds when we use that other language makes it sound like we're divorcing ourselves. I'm just saying the way it sounds to others.
They took the country over and are using it for their own means.
Yeah, just about this.
So somebody comes in and takes your government. Is that theft? I'm sorry, you're worried about the word stolen?
Really? How can they take it if our politicians agreed with them? That's my problem.
Andy brings up a good point, though.
Because they're supposed to represent us, and they're not. They're representing them.
Andy makes a good point, though. Let's be fair. Ultimately, as the citizens of this country, it's our not our fault, but our responsibility to hold people to account. And the fact that we've allowed this thing to slowly progress is indeed our responsibility to correct. However, the nefarious nature with which a very small group has gone about creating the framework within which they're able to influence and exert so much power over them. Congress is not. People that go to Congress are normal people like you and I. If you and I were to go into Congress, very few people emerge clean from Congress. Thomas Massey is one that's fighting for his life. Marjorie Taylor Greene had to resign, and she was just pushing back on a couple issues here and there. It is incredibly difficult. If you understood the incentives and the punishments of being inside the government of the United States, it's incredibly difficult to maintain your moral character. To survive, you almost have to bend and play the game. We have to change.
Hey, Andy, I've got a question. Who sent you a message to come in here?
No one. You just happened to be the first live I scrolled across this morning.
Oh, really? In the moment that I said that word? Because you haven't been in here for a while. You haven't been in here for a while.
I came up and I listened to him.
I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here, Andy.
Who would send me?
Okay. I don't know. That's why I asked you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you okay, liberal? That sounds paranoid to me.
Yeah, we'll see. See, Andy hangs out with that very group of people that are doing what they did. This lady came in. She said, I've been watching you for a while. That was a lie. She lied. She came up here to do exactly what she just did, and somebody else in the comment section fell for it, and I see who that was too. Guys, they're disrupting something. We're talking about a group of people leading this goddamn government that is raping children, and you guys are pissed because somebody said that another government stole our government.
Right.
You guys are fucking what? Get out of here with that. Andy, I see what you did. I know what you're doing. Get the fuck out of here with that. And here, guess what, Andy? You just earned yourself a block too.
Good.
Zio, what say you? Was that not fucking weird?
Weird. Listen, I've never heard Andy come in and be that in opposition to something. So
she's involved with those other people,
right?
Those
Andy, you know, Lib can see how long you've been in his live. So if you said you've been listening for a while and he finds out that you just came in, you're a lying cunt.
Well, he blocked her, so I don't think she can even hear you now.
Okay, somebody will run and tell her that I called her a lying fucking cunt.
And then from the outside for Chip and liberal and such, let's say we take your thesis as correct and that this is occurring, okay? We can point to other countries where the level of this is nowhere near. We can look at the EU as a whole. We can look at Australia and Canada that do support the country in question, but nothing close to what the Americans.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding right now?
I'm not kidding at all. Oh, please, let's go with this, bro. Let's go in on this.
I thought you're joking. If you are, it's good stand-up. I appreciate it.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Sorry, tell me how it's commensurate. I'd like to hear.
I'm not saying that the level of monetary influence is the same, but the impact on the governing decisions of the countries. In Australia right now, you literally can go to jail if you have a Palestinian flag walking down the street. That's how crazy the policies have changed in Australia right now. In England, in the UK, you can't say you support Palestinian liberation or you get arrested.
Okay, what about in France, sir?
The point is that you're saying the influence is somehow only isolated in places. That's
No. If the impact on your government is so severe, and yet in the other countries, the actual demonstrable impact akin, incomparable to the U.S. is not, then what is the fix for America then to help dilute this influence for the future?
Oh, solving the problem and diagnosing the problem are different things. Sometimes cancers progress to such a point that there's no other solution other than for the patient to die. But if we're trying to save the patient last minute, my thought is this. I don't think a violent situation is going to work for us. I think we're going to have to basically withhold every aspect of our participation in society with a specific set of outcomes we want to have in place. So just like a union would go on strike, but it's not just labor. The strike is figurative for withdrawing from the system. In other words, don't click and pay any bills. Don't buy any corporate goods. Don't pay your taxes. Don't pay your student loans. Don't pay your credit card bills. Don't pay your mortgages. Blah, blah. Complete and total disengagement from the system. We're going to have to build local support systems and local economies.
Including this app, Chip. Including this app.
Do you think that would work, Chip? Do you really think that would work? Well, I don't think they would just.
It's in my view, it's the only tool. The only thing that works in negotiations is leverage. Right now, the American public, as it's currently structured, has zero leverage. Letters to the editor threatening to withhold your vote doesn't matter. Doesn't affect anything.
Nope.
Exactly. What about Article 5 then?
Well, again, that requires congressional activity, and the Congress itself is the problem. As long as you control the federal level legislative branch, you make so many constitutional provisions impractical or impossible. We can't get a constitutional amendment passed to change Citizens United because that requires a 2/3 majority. They've got that sewn up, or 3/4 of the states. They've operated in the state legislatures. They got 38 states where they have anti-BDS laws in place. They own these places. These people are smart. They're organized. You got to give them credit. They're effective. They're evil, but they're effective.
Let me say this for you, ISB. When you say, do you really think that will work? Let me give you an example of what Chip's saying and how quickly it did work. When ABC or whoever the hell it was decided to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, in less than 6 days, the people got together and made them lose $6 billion. They brought his ass back on air with a quickness because the people decided they weren't going to put up with somebody's having their free speech taken away. And instantly it was reversed. $6 billion in less than a week. They lost that much money. So it's all about the money. So what he's saying could work if people weren't so divided.
I don't know that it would work on a federal level, though, because I think they would just come in and force us to do stuff. Because Jimmy Kimmel, I get, and that's a smaller thing. But I think on the federal level, they've used boom booms on us before just because. So I don't put it past that they would do that too. So I don't know that on a federal level, without there actually being a, for entertainment purposes only, hypothetically speaking, a revolt would actually change anything.
A revolt. Okay, so now Smile. What did Smile say to start this? Chip, you would respond because I was outside and he said something and you were like, "Are you serious?" What did he say?
He was talking about the influence that they have elsewhere being a lot less potent. And my argument is well, the United States is the biggest beast on the stage. So obviously, if you can control that control itself is worth 10 of the other or 50 of the other. But the bigger point is, he said, well, how do you fix the infiltration and the problem? And I really believe, and this is going to sound very negative, and I don't mean to be negative, but I think between our economic challenges and these political I don't think the United States is going to make it out the other side of this the way we'd like it to.
I don't either. Because these motherfuckers are clever, like sending these people into these small creator rooms and fucking with them and shit, and then making people think they're crazy. Like, you go through the list of like the old, actors who tried to come out and talk about the shit that was happening by the very people we're talking about now, and then they made them out like they were fucking nuts and crazy and drove them nuts and drove them crazy. This is what they do. So I agree. I'm not sure that we come out of this.
And it's not an indictment on the people. Again, what normally has to happen, I was looking at a thread on Reddit about this very topic. They're saying, is somebody asked for financial reasons, is a civil war maybe coming or a revolution? And the person who answered him, I think, made a big point. He says, right now, and this is not, we're all the same. So I'm a part of this as much as what I'm about to say. We're all conditioned to conveniences and comforts.
Yes.
To the extent to which humans have never experienced in history. And it's very hard to pull yourself away from the comfort of that, whether it be the goods on demand or the creature comforts or living arrangements. And making a major shift in the way that the everyday life goes is what's required to, by definition, to disrupt the system. And the people are therefore going to have to voluntarily sacrifice and go through hardship, which is not something we're used to doing or even having the thought of considering. So, I'm lucky I've been to a war. I've been living in the worst conditions under threat of dying. Nothing is as bad as that. So any other inconvenience to me is no big deal. But that most people haven't had that contextual experience to compare. The idea of being without Netflix or your phone for a day is very unsettling, much less, not having a place to stay or not having to know where your next meal is coming from. And most people are not going to do that until they're desperate enough where the potential benefit of the change outweighs the current dire circumstances that they perceive themselves to be in.
I don't know that people in the United States, at least, think that anything like that would outweigh it, because I really do think, and I agree with you, Chip, on this one, because people talk about this, and I really do think when they say things like, we'll wait till the next election, they don't see what's right in front of their face, that we don't have time to wait till the next election. Something has to happen if we want the country to survive, which I agree with you again on that, Chip, as well. But it's a complacency. They've never had to face hardship. Like the last generation that had anything bad going on, they're passing away now. So I think it's a mentality thing. Like, let's wait. And when we vote new people in, but you understand that's 2-4 years away. Like, lots of shit can happen in 4 years. People are very complacent and comfortable, thinking that it's all going to be okay. But sometimes it's not all going to be okay. Like, where's that other step there? Like,
this is human psychology. Hope and fear are the two things at play here. You would hopeful for a better future for your kids and yourselves, because right now the current system is going the wrong way. But the fear is, if anything stirs things up, it could be way worse in the short term or maybe in perpetuity. Or you could lose your life or go to jail or whatever. And I think that fear is so strong right now. I've talked to thousands of people about this, by the way. I've gotten almost universally the same reaction. People want the system to work its way out of this through voting. And again, if you do something over and over again, I call it throwing a pebble at a wall, a brick wall. If you throw a pebble at a brick wall and you grab a different one, you throw a different colored pebble, it's not changing the dynamics of the wall being in place. You've got to go grab a bulldozer or heavy equipment, and that requires other stuff, money, time, expense, sacrifice. People have to at least acknowledge that part of the reality first, and then consider the tools with which to attack that, and then get together and stop this fake left-right divide BS we get caught up in.
Agreed.
And say we have the same exact common interest on like 5 or 6 of the big issues that nobody has any different point of view on unless you're part of the 1/2 of 1%. Everybody else is aligned on that. What they do is they keep us divided with different television channels and putting Bad Bunny on the halftime show to enrage half the country. It's all by design to try to keep us squabbling so we don't come together and do the things, go grab the bulldozer and knock the wall down.
The people talking about the fucking halftime show is wild to me on both sides. Total non-issue.
I think it's the weirdest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. Who gives a shit? Like, It's the fucking halftime show.
Yeah, like because the NFL doesn't like controversy. I made a video about this before. They don't like controversy. And the fact that they did that, and they've done it basically 2 years in a row now, something controversial, it tells me this. Chip is probably right. This is just to get people just, over stupid shit.
Bullshit.
Because and I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but in and let me pull this up here on the screen so y'all can see. The FAA has now stopped flights for like 10 days in New Orleans and fucking El Paso, citing vague ass security concerns. They didn't say what or who or why or anything like that, but but nobody's really talking about this.
I saw a thing come across my news that said they revoked the thing on El Paso, though. They changed it.
I hadn't heard anything about it as of this morning. Whenever I went live, it was still in place. As a matter of fact, listen to this. You can hear this air traffic controller talking to a pilot.
Southwest 49, are you guys supposed to fly out?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Southwest 49, are you guys departing again tonight, or is this final flight in?
Nah, we're going to the hotel.
Roger. Just be advised, I guess there's a TFR going into effect. Just pass it on to the Southwest and everybody else. At 0630 for the next 10 days, we're stopped, all ground stopped.
Okay, ground stopped at 0630 for how long?
10 days.
So the airport's totally closed?
Apparently, we just got informed about 30 minutes to an hour ago.
So for 10 days, you guys are not open?
Well, I mean, we'll be here, but no air traffic.
Yeah, and so barely anybody's really talking about this. Like, what the fuck are we? What's going on there? It's like a blip. Right, New Orleans.
New Orleans and El Paso. Why are those two different places? What happened?
Yeah, because to me that says we're going to keep commercial flights from going in there so nobody can go visit family. And we already know that down there's a fucking detention camp where they're not letting lawyers talk to immigrants. They're not letting family members talk to them.
I see.
And now I don't know about New Orleans. That came after the one in El Paso. Why? I don't know, but they service millions of fucking flights.
Yeah. And that's money lost. That's a lot of lost revenue.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. I saw something while I was on your panel that came across like the top of my phone, but I can't. I didn't look at it, of course, so it's gone. Let me look it up.
And this is what I'm going to say. These people are not playing games.
Okay, here we go. Mexican cartel drones disabled after forcing El Paso airspace closure. Drones operated by Mexican drug cartels entered U.S. airspace late Tuesday, sparking an initial 10-day shutdown of the bullshit.
Bullshit.
You
know what this means? Now it's time to go into Mexico and fuck with their shit.
Yeah,
that's what this means.
They're lying. That's a fucking lie. 10 days for a drone.
Right,
no.
because of Mexico's advanced drone system that they have on there. Come on now.
Yeah.
Now you're going to hear us going and BOMBing Mexico and dragging one of those people out of there. Although it won't be the president because she's also a Zionist. You guys know that, right?
Sheinbaum. Yeah.
She's a big Zionist. She's not indigenous or Mexican at all.
Think about how ridiculous that sounds. Well, there was a drone over there, so we got to shut it down for 10 days. What?
That's billions of dollars, right?
Billions.
Like who came up with the number 10? Not 7, not 8, not 3, 10.
Okay, but what about Louisiana? You said Louisiana and El Paso?
New Orleans, that's correct. Yep.
Louisiana has a big detention center.
Were there drones attacking the airspace in Louisiana?
They must be. It's from the Gulf of America.
These drones are just something else.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're going to say the drones came from Cuba.
them Cuban drones.
Well, Canada, if you're listening, Canada, you better be careful because you're next on the list.
Yeah, FAA restricts flights over New Orleans and El Paso airport for security reasons. These motherfuckers, they're so full of shit.
Wait, can you go to the local news in El Paso or in Louisiana and see if they're talking about drones attacking airspace in the local news?
Yeah, let's see. WWL-TV, I believe is local.
A big, huge thing.
Yes. Oh, fucking ad blocker. Oh my God.
Airspace.
I'm so sick of these fucking ads they put up. Oh, of course.
Oh God, they're horrible.
El Paso airspace closure was tied to Mexican cartel drones in U.S. skies. That's what it says here. And then they got a fucking ad for Disney. Motherfucker. El Paso airspace closure was tied to Mexican cartel drones in U.S. Bullshit. He's like, look, I stopped another war. I stopped another war. That's 13 wars that I ended.
Yeah.
This fucking loser. Like,
so they fucking bullshit.
But he can't stop the war in his diaper.
Both the FAA and the Defense Department have determined there is no threat to commercial travel, said the official. These people think we're stupid.
They sure do.
And if anybody believes what they just said, you are stupid.
Yeah.
So also, why would the airlines be? So here's the thing: they're air traffic controllers, right? They have radar. Funny enough. So wouldn't they also be aware that there are drones around? Like it wouldn't be like drones. What you talking about? Because
it's bullshit.
It's propaganda. I mean, because think about that. You do 10 days, it doesn't even last. Because this was reported. Let me see how many hours ago. Because it started 6:30 today was the start time. So they didn't even make it 5 hours.
Where's the footage of the drones?
But they shot it down. It was redacted.
We got surveillance everywhere. Where's the fucking footage so we can see the drones?
It's in the Epstein files. The ones that they haven't released yet.
In other words, go buy about 10 drones and you can shut like an airport down.
Well, shit.
Because you can fly those drones and then go buy stock when the airlines stock.
And if you guys don't remember, if you don't remember, there was a guy who he worked there as like he would be the guy that goes in and starts the planes. He wasn't a pilot. He would just go in there and start the engines or whatever. He actually stole the plane from the airport from SeaTac in Seattle, I think, and flew around. He ended up unaliving himself into the water.
I remember that.
You guys remember that shit? Yeah, I mean, it has a full-on conversation and they didn't like we're shutting it down for 10 days because we had one crazy guy that dealt with the situation. They closed it down temporarily. None of it makes any sense.
I just got the news. The one in Louisiana shut down because a flock of seagulls was in the airspace. Some of that bullshit. So they closed down for 10 days for seagulls. Okay. We're buying into all this bullshit.
This one is for WWL. This is local, and it says El Paso airspace closure was tied to Mexican cartels. So those were Mexican seagulls. They came in from Mexico. They're flying carrier seagulls in with messages. They had bombs in their claws. They were going to drop them in strategic locations.
Crazy.
This reminds me of George Bush changing the color.
They're not even good at propaganda. They're not even good at propaganda. It's so easy.
They should have called BB. Hey, BB, what do we need to do?
Hey.
Get your Mossad on this, would you? Like that's wild to me. So, it's so much shit going on now.
But you know what's not wild? If within the next 10 days we do something in Mexico, we'll know what the reason was.
Exactly.
So
abso-fucking-lutely.
Everyone here knows that we have sent ships off the coast of Cuba, right?
Yes, there's an embargo. We was talking about this earlier. Matter of fact, that's kind of what I started the show on. Because they stole Venezuelan oil and are now giving it to fucking Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wild.
No, it's not. It's par for the course. This is what we were talking about. These people have influence over everything. And it always ends up back going to that place. Did you guys see when the ICE agents got their asses whipped in Italy? It was beautiful to see that. They sent ICE agents to Italy, and those Italian protesters beat the shit out of them ICE agents, and I was loving it.
They were put on ice.
So I'm in Central Florida. There is a very bad neighborhood here, right? We know it's bad. Everyone knows it's bad. Like they don't have stop signs.
It's because of those seagulls.
They have yield signs here. They're not even full stop signs. They're just like, slow down if you want. Don't worry about it. You can just ride through. So they sent ICE into there and they chased them out.
Good.
Like literally chased them out. Like they couldn't even handle just a bad neighborhood.
They did that in
Little
Compton in
pussies.
California. Yes,
same
one
thing.
of them got pew-pewed. Yes, it was wonderful.
Bullshit. Like, fucking go away.
This is really sick. We're in sick times. I mean, actually, it's being revealed to us. This country has always operated like this. This country, from its very inception, has been an absolute evil, demonic country.
But we got to make sure the most important thing is to use the correct word, the one that somebody finds acceptable, because I'm offended by that. And let me send in some asshole that's friends with these other Zios to come in and just destroy your panel because you're talking about Israel and what they do.
What do you mean? Come on now, Jules. Semantics matter. Are you fucking kidding us? That was outrageous, Jules.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, come on.
Well, because earlier I was saying that the U.S. is the victim of Israel.
Well, sure.
And they were like, we're not victims. What do you mean? They raped kids. Yeah, they got upset by that.
You are dealing with these people are thinking way ahead of the game. Like they say, just a minute, what's his name? Nora Mandani. Like they say, of course you can vote and you can get him in, but they're 3 steps ahead. They already know they're going to pull in store for him. But here's the alarming part. When you got a country of like India, 1.4 billion people versus 340 million people, you have missing children in India of 96,000, right? But in the United States, we have 460,000 missing children every year. So when you break that down, how is that possible? Well, here's how it's possible. Because we have programs in our country that takes the kids right from your household.
That's right.
Go in and take your kids out. They know how to deal with you, man.
But
These people are diabolical.
I don't think that's the reason. I think it's because in poor countries,
There's a person in LA that's not alive today because they started stepping on that. Don't tell me what
I agree with you. What I'm saying is I think it's just underreported in third world countries because no one gives a shit. Just like indigenous and black people have been getting kidnapped since the beginning of fucking time, but it's underreported because people don't look at it.
Right, but smaller countries, it's not unreported, and it goes by the same ratio. So that's already been disputed. What I'm saying is you have children's services that have so much power, they can come in and take your kids away.
Well, they used to do it to indigenous. They had to pass a goddamn law to keep them from stealing native children and giving them to white people.
Right,
because that's what they were doing.
How many women and children have gone missing up in the Alaska, Canada area, and they don't even look at it? They don't talk about it?
Yeah, because they'll have those fucking oil workers, all those dudes. It'll be a sausage fest for a fucking month. So they'll find some fucking rando, woman, or go into town and fucking steal her and grape and unalive her. Oh, I used the word stolen. Sorry.
It's semantics.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking fed up being nice to these fucking jackasses. That's why I just blocked Andy. These people are fucking sick. These people are sick. They have one goal, and that is to make sure that this shit keeps rolling on down the river the way it was intended to go for them. That's what they want. That's what, even though they'll come up here and they'll act like, oh, I'm against this. No, they're not. They're pushing it. They're doing this. They're distracting people.
And this is the new thing, that these same people that, like Andy, they are just having their flags and their buttons and their T-shirts for Mr. Gavin Newsom, who is a complete and utter fucking joke. I wouldn't vote for that bitch if Satan were on the other side of the ticket. I am done voting for these motherfucking corporate pieces. He literally sat down and was talking about the Democrats and why he did what he did against Kamala Harris. It's like, oh, bitch, you're not getting my vote. You are a piece of shit. You're nothing but a MAGA. You just have better hair than Trump. These people are sick, and they keep talking about the midterms. That shit is over. That shit is over. I'm almost wanting Trump to be able to block this election to show you motherfuckers that it's time to
just how fucked up.
Just to fucking wake up, bitch. This shit is over.
I don't hope for that, but I take your point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you see the writing on the wall, and him going in and taking the shit from Fulton County. That is only for one purpose, and that is so he can say, even though we can't take this to court, statute of limitations is over. He's like, no, we found it. We found the smoking gun.
Right.
We're not going to show you. We're not going to prove it in court, but we are. And so whenever the election time comes, we're going to send in our fucking goon squads to all the polling places, but just in the blue states and just in the big blue cities. And we're going to make sure that we round up all of the people of color. That's what he's going to do.
But the whole system is allowing this shit to happen. They want this to happen. They love this theater. They love all this craziness and bullshit. There are no different sides. Their fuckers are all on the same side. This is bullshit. We're being played. But we have to wake up. When I say we, Chip, I mean white, poor, and working class people need to stop holding on to that whiteness and start getting together with people, especially black people who know what this game is about, and other marginalized groups get together and fuck this shit up. But it's the majority of poor white folk who still think that they're gonna be childbearing hips Elon Musk one day. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened generationally. You've never gotten anything from this system if you're a poor working class white person. It has always been for the rich white man. And for you stupid ass women who are voting like this, voting against your own self, you better snap out, bitch, or you're going to find yourself with 12 babies in your belly. You're going to be barefoot and really cooking in the kitchen. They already want to take away your right to vote, dummies. Stop being stupid, people. They are not playing. It's definitely going to be about
But
class.
he's so handsome. I actually heard a liberal woman say that.
I did too.
Who's handsome?
Gavin Newsom.
Newsom.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. He was strutting through the airport. Oh my God.
And there's a guy that comes on, used to come on, who was a player. He would anything that moved, and this person would talk about misogyny all the time. This woman, they're misogynist. But knowing that this dude's a player, still turning around, it's like, but he's so handsome, he's so charming. It's gross. Like you know, but then you know people still go down that route, and so I have little hope that even in the midterms. And this is men and women, too. So I'm not just calling out women. Like, it's a human thing, I guess, maybe. I don't get it. But Take No Pagan, welcome aboard. Go ahead.
What's up? Hey, did you see the Megyn Kelly and Pierce Morgan interview?
Yes.
Oh, it was she went, she is so ridiculous. She went way off the deep end.
No, she didn't. That's her usual MO. That's who she is.
What do you mean she went off the deep end? Can you explain?
Yeah.
I just mean the way what she was saying. It was just she was giving the whole game away. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't mincing words at all. She just was saying exactly what this is all about, you know, with the complaining about the culture. You have to be it has to be American and eat fried chicken with. It can't be the Super Bowl halftime. It can't be anything else. It can't. You have to speak English. You have to speak American. Oh, it was. Yeah, she is. Oh man. And you know what I thought about? Liberal.
Did you agree or disagree with her point of view? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Totally disagree with her point of view.
Okay.
Liberal, you know, I collect physical media, and I got to tell you, when I get collections from like old white people or like old white men, collections of their physical media and sort through them, they're the shittiest. Like it's the shittiest music I've ever heard in my life. It's all like what's it called? Crooners, and it's horrible.
I love crooners. What are you talking about?
Not the white crooners though. Now he's okay.
Come on.
He's okay. I can dig that, but I'm not like so many. Yeah, I like the rock, you know, I'm more into that.
What are we even talking about right now? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bro.
You said when you find YT people's stuff and then you went into music and
when I go through their music, it's the shittiest quality music. It's the Reader's Digest box sets and shit like that. It is.
Well, I just
so
listen. I just want to drive a truck. I just want to mow my grass. I just want to feed my dog.
Was it kiss his fish?
I can't know that. I think that's what Mr. Global said in response. Did you guys see Mr. Global's response? That's fucking hilarious.
But you know what? In fairness to people like Megyn Kelly and the Trump administration, they are the ones who are trying to keep America the way it was. They really are the ones who are trying to do what the founding fathers, for the most part, and keep this a white, light, bright country that is controlled by white men of wealth. This is what this country is. Everything that's in opposition to that is absolutely against the founding of this country. So they really are losing their minds because everybody knows that this country was built and controlled by whitey men of wealth. And that's what we're all used to. So all these new things where you talk about equality and equity, that's very scary. When you say equality, that freaks the system out. This system wasn't built on equality. This system was built on hierarchy. And that's just the way it is. So Megyn Kelly is being what a white, blonde-headed, mediocre mayonnaise-looking woman is doing. She's freaking out when she's seeing people of color jumping around on stage, and especially with the not speaking English thing, that freaks people out. And it's just going to continue to happen.
But the weirdest, I'm sorry.
I think I found it. I've been trying to find this guy's. Hold on, let me see.
If I tell my own daughter, the little boy.
Oh, hold on. I got to mute my YouTube. It'll fucking ding me on YouTube. Hold on. Let's see. Let me ding desktop audio. Okay. Oh.
Marvelous.
Damn it. If I do that, then nobody can hear you guys. Fuck it. Here, let's see.
Little girl.
Well, damn it. That's not what I wanted to play. I just want to drive my truck.
He says, I just want to kiss my fish.
I don't know. I want to wear my boots as he's wearing boots.
It's just like line up the two cultures and which culture sounds like it's better, it's smoother, it's like it's just so much better in every way, and they want to take us back to that crap that they had at the All American halftime show. Like, I don't want to go back to that. Fuck that.
And you know, like we will want a family values because now they've got an inquiry into the Bad Bunny halftime show. I don't know if you guys saw that, Andy Ogles. Yeah. So you know, talking about it being indecent, yet they put an artist up there that said that some call it statutory, I call it mandatory. Talking about underage girls, like this man's hard drive needs to be checked and double checked.
He also said about the Olsen twins that as long as there's grass in the field, you should be able to mow it. Like, I mean, I don't understand why they thought he was a good role model.
Because he's talking about white grass on the field, right? Whenever it's white, it's just okay. It's right. Somebody just put in the comments that Bondi is on. I guess it's something controversial because they're asking, have we watched Bondi? What do we want to see that ugly rickety crickety bitch for?
Let's see. She's testifying at the oversight hearing.
From the DOJ, how she's handled
Agent Bondi, the Cash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you. Because they're still redacting files that you...
Chairman, look at that chat.
I am going to recess for votes.
Wow.
Yes, we are. I'm submitting for unanimous
Look at all the pizza emojis.
Of 17 individuals who've resigned because of Epstein files.
Without objection.
And not a one of them will go to jail, I'm sure.
Not one. It's all performative.
Actually,
this
I
is
think the
all
gentlelady
theater.
from Pennsylvania. Gentlelady from Pennsylvania is recognized.
On this to protect our kids. How many school kids do you see now vaping? And it's not only, I believe a vape has 20 cigarettes.
Mitch, what are you talking about?
You know, that's one vape is 20 cigarettes. I believe it is.
Oh my God.
Also what they could be laced with because so many of them, the majority of them are manufactured in China.
And then all of a sudden it's like, ma'am, I asked you why you redacted the abusers' names. Why are you talking about vaping?
Right.
Sure, and if you need additional resources, please let us know as you're going through the process. And I'm going to change gears one more time on you.
I feel like she was crying earlier.
A lot of confusion created when parts of the DOJ began treating software developers like financial institutions. Even when they did not hold or control anyone's money, they were simply building the technology. That uncertainty certainly made it harder for Americans to build, innovate here at home. Earlier this year, the Deputy Attorney General issued a memo entitled Ending Regulations by Prosecution.
Oh, here's Jamie Raskin. Let me go to Jamie Raskin.
And not tried again.
All right, let's see. He's usually pretty good.
How are you seeking justice for?
Oh, God.
Justice Department
motherfucker, go back to the gym, bitch.
To keep boys out of girls' sports, they secured deals with universities to stop race-based admissions and anti-Semitic practices. And after discovering rampant fraud in Minnesota,
oh yeah, this dude who allowed children to be abused, and this sick fuck talk about we anti-racism.
Is that the guy from Ohio?
Justice Department under leadership of
I don't remember what state it is. He was a fucking gym coach.
From Ohio. In fact, I met with Colin McDonough.
Yeah.
Who will head that division last week.
I can't.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman, and welcome Attorney General Bondi. You've got the best lawyer's job in America because your mission is justice and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring who are demanding that the truth be told and are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors.
Wait, you gotta be careful with your lies.
Let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors' family members who are present today.
Fuck it.
There's Teresa Helm. There's Jess Michaels.
I only got 50 people
Laura
in
Bloom
here.
McGee, Danny Benson.
And these motherfuckers are still coming in here trying to destroy my fucking show, so I just don't even give a fuck anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda, Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Richard, and Lisa Phillips. Now, you're not showing a lot of interest in the victims, Madam Attorney General, whether it's Epstein's human trafficking ring or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis. As Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims. That will be your legacy unless you act quickly.
They need to show her face.
You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there. And you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends, but you published their names, their identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000 employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded...
Yeah, but it's a meritocracy, you see? He got rid of the DEI stuff.
...cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover-up. Convicted sex trafficker and groomer Ghislaine Maxwell opened the gates of hell to Virginia Giuffre and hundreds of other victims, as Virginia recorded in her remarkable book, Nobody's Girl. But when Maxwell was subpoenaed to come testify before Congress, you and Todd Blanche quickly moved her from a higher security prison to a minimum security camp in Texas, where she's enjoyed 5-star treatment, including catered meals, private gym time, and access to a therapy puppy. All because Todd Blanche, who's utterly failed to investigate the monstrous crimes of Epstein and Maxwell's co-conspirators, spent 9 hours with Maxwell and satisfied himself that she would have
Look, they're even redacting the hearing. Did you see that?
Nothing untoward to say about Donald Trump, which is your only real interest in the matter, based on institutional performance. But abandoning victims and coddling perpetrators is what you do best.
Oh, the
FBI
pictures.
opened a criminal investigation into the brutal killing in Minneapolis of Renee Good, a poet and 37-year-old mother of 3, by Trump's masked paramilitary ICE agents. You shut it down. You claim you're investigating the cold-blooded murder of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse at the VA. But how can we trust the administration when the president and Kristi Noem called Preddy a domestic terrorist and Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin?
Oh, that's fine.
Not only do you refuse to share evidence with the state and local investigators and prosecutors in Minnesota, you have blocked their access to the crime scene and the evidence. How are you seeking justice for Marimar Martinez, the Montessori school teacher in Chicago who was shot 5 times by a Border Patrol agent who bragged about it on text? Or the family of Keith Porter, a father of 2 shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in LA? Or the family of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, shot and killed in Illinois minutes after he dropped his kids off at school? There's no sign of any movement at the Department of Justice. You even launched a criminal investigation into Renee Good's grieving widow. How sick is that?
Fucking disgusting.
You've turned the People's Department of Justice into Trump's instrument of revenge. Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board, and members of Congress like Adam Schiff, Mark Kelly, Alyssa Slotkin, Chrissy Houlihan, Jason Crow, Chris DeLuzio, and Maggie Goodlander, to name a few, and you snap to it. You replace real prosecutors with counterfeit stooges who robotically do the president's bidding. Nothing in American history comes close to this complete corruption of the justice function and contamination of federal law enforcement. And the good news is many serious lawyers at DOJ, including some of your own original appointees, have refused.
Look at that lady next to Jamie Raskin. She's
Danielle
pissed.
Sassoon, your original pick for
She's like, you
US Attorney
cunt.
Manhattan, resigned rather than follow your corrupt order to quash an indictment against Mayor Eric Adams as a political favor from Donald Trump. A Federalist Society member who clerked for Justice Scalia, U.S. Attorney Sassoon refused to participate in this blatantly corrupt scheme. Her top assistant, Hagan Scotton, an Iraqi war vet and 2-time Bronze Star recipient who clerked for Chief Justice Roberts, and then Judge Kavanaugh, promptly resigned too, writing to your office, quote, "I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me." You and the president nominated Eric Siebert, a 15-year career prosecutor, to be your U.S. attorney for the Eastern District
Okay,
of
I want to
Virginia.
hear her answer questions. Let me fast forward a little bit. Come on.
Found no zero Howard and his members. You're better than arrested federal official asked by member as
Yep. Okay. Come on now. I broke it.
He may be just speaking and not
Do
giving
you swear
her.
or affirm under penalty of
Here we
perjury
go.
that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God?
I do.
Let the record show that the witness
She's
has answered
disgusting.
in the affirmative. Thank you. You can be seated. And please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask that you summarize.
There's somebody named Hawk
your
Tua in the
testimony.
YouTube
Madam
chat.
Attorney General, you may begin.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Chairman
two on
Jordan,
that thing.
Ranking Member Raskin, and distinguished members of this committee. Thank you for hosting me here today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to answer your questions, highlight the work of our department, and discuss the most important topic of all, keeping the American people safe. A little over a year ago, I was sworn into office as the 87th Attorney General of the United States. I came into office with the goal of refocusing the Department of Justice on its core mission after years of bloated bureaucracy and political weaponization. The Department of Justice's core mission is to fight violent crime, protect the American people, and defend the rule of law above all else. While our work is never done, we have made tremendous progress to make America safe again.
Oh my God.
In 2025, we saw the lowest murder rate in 125 years. That's nothing short of historic. If you compare 25 to 24, here's what you'll find. The murder rate is down 21%, robbery down 23%, carjacking down 43%, gun assault down 22%.
Yeah, all these things are down. It only cost you your life and your liberty. That's it.
Ag assault, burglary, could go on and on. Crime is declining. This did not happen by accident. The numbers tell an important yet straightforward story. President Trump has given us the resources, the support, and the leadership to protect the American people. President Trump's policies have saved lives. I cannot think of a policy outcome more important than protecting the lives of American citizens. Can you? This trend has been especially clear in Washington, D.C. and in Memphis. These are two iconic American cities that spent years in the grip of horrific violent crime. The Department of Justice surged law enforcement resources, and the results came quickly. Crime plummeted in both cities. And I want to make one point loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
We achieved those results by working with Democratic mayors.
Working with
does not have a party registration. When your constituents call 911, they don't ask for political views of the responding officer. They ask for help. I have federal agents in each and every one of your districts. They're here to help, and I am here to help. Many cities and states have worked with us.
Yeah, just like Reagan said, the most dangerous words, the English language. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. And here's Pam Bondi saying, we're here to help. Yeah, we see.
And taken advantage of our federal
We see
support.
what that looks like.
Some have not. Meanwhile, a few elected officials have declared that they are, quote, at war with the federal government and encouraged widespread obstruction of law enforcement. This has resulted in avoidable clashes on the streets, as you've all seen. We've seen rioters storming a Christian church. Citizens and law enforcement officers have both been endangered.
Yeah, her name was Valentina Gomez.
Rhetoric. We have made dozens of arrests in and around Minneapolis so far, and many of them could have been avoided by simple compliance with federal law.
Just comply.
Of course, our efforts reach beyond our urban centers.
I bet that's what they said on the Epstein Island. This goes a lot easier, girls, if you just comply.
We are striking crucial blows against terrorist organizations such as MS-13, TDA, the Sinaloa cartel, and Antifa. And as we sit here, I think you've seen the news this morning. The news is reporting that cartel drones are being shot down by our military.
This
That's
lady.
what we all should care about right now.
Show us the video,
Protecting
bitch.
America.
But see, these people are so incompetent. They may show you the drone, and they'll inadvertently catch Pam Bondi like in the background doing the drone. She's got the fucking drone thing in her hand, like they're controlling it and then shooting their own drones down. Look, it's a cartel drone. Or they'll put like a fucking pinata on top of it and be like, see, look, it's a Mexican cartel drone. That's how stupid these people are.
As we seek to dismantle these drug trafficking networks that poison Americans, in 2025, our DEA agents seized more than 47 million fentanyl pills and more than 9,800 total kilos of fentanyl. That represents 369 million potentially deadly doses that can kill Americans.
69 million deadly doses, this lady. Remember before when they were talking about hundreds of millions of drug overdoses? Remember that shit? These people are stupid.
Meanwhile, our attorneys are fighting for President Trump's agenda in courtrooms across this country. This administration has been sued 627 times. We've fought through a nonstop flood of bad faith temporary restraining orders from liberal activist judges across this country. America has never seen this level of coordinated judicial opposition.
Okay, who votes that we go to the questions? Because she's just spewing lie after lie, just bullshit.
Yeah,
What say y'all?
Yeah,
She
well,
has
that's
Yeah, let me get forward here.
Of those responsible over the years in the Epstein debacle. Obviously, you have an amazingly full docket between civil rights, between criminal, between so-called white-collar crime, and doing so, as the chairman said, at a time in which both you and the president are under attack, and our ICE agents and FBI and others are under attack when they try to enforce the law. I personally want to apologize for those who would embolden, support, or even stand with those lawbreakers that sit on this and other daises here in Congress. My job generally is to talk about patents and trademarks as the chairman of that subcommittee. I'll forego that today because one of my other jobs is the creation and maintenance of Article 3 judges, and I work with the Chief Justice on that, and we're trying to expand the court. But currently, there are only 677 district court judges. They have very full dockets as well. But you create a tremendous amount of judges, particularly immigration judges. You do so in order to save the court but adjudicate, as is requirement, each of those people who claim a right to be here in the United States. And that has been going on under Republican and Democratic administrations for years. What's unique about the Trump administration this time is that you and President Trump have managed to reduce the backlog of people seeking that for the first time in decades. You are getting ahead of that tremendous backlog that caused, for better or worse, the release of millions of people with little pieces of paper saying, come back later when we call you, and often to no avail when you call. So I want to congratulate you on that because it's an accomplishment you might not take credit for and the other side would never give you credit for.
What the fuck?
But I hope you can continue to do that and do more. And I say so for a reason. Because
why does he look like a shyster?
Will be about
this guy.
Minneapolis and other places.
This guy looks like he's going to sell me a car, the greatest car ever that doesn't have oil in it. The fucking muffler's about to fall off.
Isa ran the biggest car theft ring. He worked in Akron and Cleveland area. He took cars in Cincinnati, all around the place, and he won't say you're defaming me because I know people that there's probably 2 people living that knows and took cars to him. And then he made his money when he opened the company devising a system so you could not get your Mercedes or Porsche ripped off because he only dealt with high-end cars. And that's what his company is now. And he moved to California to get away from the heat. That's that.
He's been known to be a hack.
Wow.
Right.
What a jokester. Yeah, I mean, he just looks like somebody I wouldn't buy a fucking thing off of.
Did you ever hear of Danny Green?
Huh?
Did you ever hear of Danny Green?
No, huh?
Oh, okay. They made a movie, but Danny Green was an Irishman. He brought the mob to their knees right up in Cleveland. But anyways, yeah, Isa, like I say, his best friend was Burns, and Burns tried to take him out, and Danny turned around, and when he was going from the synagogue coming out to his car, he overturned the thing and blew him across the street. Yeah, that was his friend.
Crazy.
Yep. Yeah, crazy. But he's from Cleveland and Akron area, and like Eddie George. I don't know if you ever heard of Eddie George.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't put him in charge of the task force leading, car theft. They did with Rick Scott. He's leading the charge to do the waste, fraud, and abuse with Medicare after he bilked the U.S. government from billions of dollars in Medicare fraud. That's how they operate.
Yeah, he ran the Benghazi investigation against Hillary. He was the key guy. Yeah. Yep. He's a trip. But he moved from one area. He got voted out. So he moved to another area so he could get elected to Congress. They bought his seat again.
Like a criminal does.
Yep.
Surprised they didn't change his name, too, like J.D. Vance.
California.
Yeah.
People who have hurt other people, people who have victimized their communities is extensive.
He says with a straight face.
The overall number through adjudication may be going on because of places like my home state, California. You're unable to apprehend people that my sheriffs want apprehended. They desperately want to cooperate, and they're prohibited by law. It is this committee's opinion on this side of the aisle that, in fact, you should be given
police are prohibited from
to demand that
going
that
after criminals,
and that the release of a known criminal not be considered to be acceptable just because a state or city has declared itself a sanctuary. I want you to opine on just one thing that I think has been misunderstood. As I said earlier, you create and maintain those judges that adjudicate these cases. You also support so many that, in fact, have to make decisions as judges. Knowing that this limitation of so few Article III judges are there, please educate those who seem to miss the point that Article I judges, including bankruptcy judges, including immigration judges, including lots of people with the title appropriately judge, do in fact issue documents that look like, act like, and are normally accepted as warrants, as subpoenas, as demands for state officials to stand aside and allow the production of either an individual or documents. Because I think people are missing the point that these ICE retainers and detainers and so on, they act like they're nothing when in fact in the ordinary course, Madam General, you do in
they
fact
are nothing,
have Article I
bitch.
judges constantly putting those out, and they are respected normally.
I like how they look like.
Thank you, Congressman.
He didn't say they are. He just said they look like legal stuff.
Yeah, like you're like, we can tell ourselves that we can go into your house. Like, what are you even talking about? This guy is weird.
Talking about all the great judges. And if I could add one thing to that, we are always recruiting and looking for judges. So please reach out to our office for these judges who are handling all these very important matters. We've even added some JAG officers as immigration judges.
Thank you.
And so we're continuing to do that, but we're always seeking qualified lawyers as well to be part of that. And thank you for highlighting that, Congressman.
Thank you.
They were looking for qualified lawyers, but then they found
Mr.
you.
Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisor, Steve Bannon.
Well, would you look at there? A bunch of criminals doing criminal shit?
Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their name.
And for the record, if one of y'all want to say something about something that said, just let me know. I'll pause it so you can throw something in there. But I would like to watch this.
Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words,
wow.
quote, "This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors,
it's another form of
punish
abuse.
those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades." To the
That's
survivors
crazy.
in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
Why are they not putting the camera on these people?
Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi,
What the fuck?
you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
I'm not going to play these games.
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question.
Holy shit.
I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness get to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
Twice,
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in
time, and when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady is
I'm
reclaiming
not
her
going to
time.
get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady.
Just like I said, I'm not going to play these
You're
games.
not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What
you.
a massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupting.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman. She's
time.
doing theatrics.
That was Jamie
The
Raskin.
gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final 17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Elaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
Chair now recognizes the
on
chair.
what you have done.
Yes.
I yield back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back. We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
Theatrics. Theatrics. Bitch, your entire administration is theatrics. And he said, I'm theatrics.
The central issue in the last election, the presidential election, was securing the border. The gentleman from Arizona who knows something about securing the border is up for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. In 2022, Lafarge, which is a French cement company, pled guilty in U.S. federal court to participating in a criminal conspiracy with ISIS. That conspiracy contributed to the deaths of U.S. service members fighting in Syria during Operation Inherent Resolve. As part of the plea agreement, Lafarge was required to pay more than $775 million into DOJ's Asset Forfeiture Fund. In February 2025, my colleagues and I sent you a letter urging the department to review the petitions for remission submitted by the families of those fallen service members, including several of my constituents. The previous administration ignored these victims and our requests and left their petitions unresolved. My question for you on this particular issue is if you're willing to work to ensure those families that their petitions will be reviewed and brought to a resolution.
Congressman, we are aware of that, and we're committed to doing everything we can to support the victims and work with you. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, appreciate your answer. And now let's go to something that is also
Thank you
pressing
for
that
that
I've been working on
softball
for
question.
years, and this is the FISA Section 72 and Arctic frost. In January 2025, you testified before the U.S. Senate and agreed with Senator Lee that, quote, anytime an American citizen's private communications are intercepted or stored, whether through incidental collection or otherwise, those communications should not be searched without some showing of probable cause, close quote. You still hold that view today, I assume?
Yes.
And during the most recent FISA reauthorization, I offered an amendment to establish a clear warrant requirement for searches of Americans' data while preserving every publicly cited operational exception, including emergencies, defensive queries, cybersecurity threats. And my intent was to ensure the Department of Justice could continue to keep Americans safe while also ending warrantless searches of U.S. persons' data. Are there any additional circumstances or exceptions that you believe must be included to ensure DOJ can continue to operate effectively while still protecting American citizens' data and privacy?
Yeah, Congressman, we are committed to working with Congress to uncover weaponization and other misconduct by Jack Smith, by others, Arctic Frost, everything that happened under the past administration. And we are committed to working with you on that. And we are working with Chairman Jordan, with the House Intel, with all of our my fellow cabinet members on resolving that issue.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you brought up Arctic Frost, because Section 702 was used in the Arctic Frost investigation.
It was.
And information derived was used by Special Counsel Jack Smith.
He brought it up.
And my question has always been, and no one's been able to answer this, is what was the legal predicate for using a foreign intelligence authority in the Arctic Frost investigation? Have you been able to ascertain any legal predicate?
Congressman, what I can tell you today is that has been referred to my office. I can't discuss anything regarding that because it is very active and ongoing.
And you probably can't answer
We're
this
still
one either,
trying
but I
to
really
get
wanna know if
some bribes
Section
and shit
704
from
related
people.
to that matter involved members of Congress, which we know on some level it did, congressional staff, which we know at some level did. We've heard that journalists or other U.S.
I hope somebody asks him about the bridge. You guys see that shit about the fucking bridge? How the guy that runs the toll on the other bridge is the one that was pushing for them to close down the other bridge because it was gonna cut into his profits. Yeah, so there's already a bridge that goes into Canada, and Donald Trump had put a hold on this bridge that's completed that Canada basically paid for, but I think it's Michigan would own half, and then Canada owned half. And it's already done, but Trump is like, no, we're not going to open it because when he opens it, it's going to relieve some of the traffic flow, but it's going to cut into the profits of the other toll bridge.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Manny
Somebody said, yes,
Monroe
I'm
used
from-
to own that
I'm from
bridge,
Michigan.
and he's down in Arkansas. He's tied in with the Walmart people. He used to own that bridge privately. Yep.
And so you got this, multi-million or billion-dollar bridge, whatever it is, that's sitting there completely done and not open because Donald Trump wants to get some money out of it. I'm sure. Fucking gross, man. Anyway, sorry.
persons not suspecting of acting as foreign agents were also caught up in that. Can you answer that question and say whether queries did cover all those groups I just identified?
It is a very active pending investigation within my office. However, I believe many members of Congress have stated that their phones were part of Arctic Frost. We are well aware of that, and we are taking this very seriously, and this is a very active investigation. And I would keep going and say, if any member of the Democrat Party, if any of them, if that had happened to them, we would take that.
Her fake, outrage.
Yeah,
it's so fake as fuck. It's so cringy. This bitch is cringy.
She's one of those real short actors. You know those little shorts? That's what she is. She's.
You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of that Iraqi girl that they brought in who was the daughter of the ambassador. Whenever they said they were going in there and removing the babies from the ventilators. Do you remember that shit?
Oh, yeah.
That's what she reminds me of. Bobby, thank you for that. She's so weird.
Just as serious as we do. And they should be jumping up and down, screaming, supporting you and what you want to do. Because this should be a bipartisan issue.
Well, I hope it is a bipartisan issue.
Oh my God.
I'll just leave with these last
Talk
couple of
about
questions, which
theatrics.
I'll fall into the same
that's
investigation
fucking
and
bullshit.
privilege. But that's this. How many such queries were actually conducted?
It's like
overall,
they say,
this is
a
outside Arctic
5-minute
Frost,
buffer. They
the
get
prior
a
year
5-minute
by the
buffer.
FBI and
Know what
other
I mean?
intelligence
For
community.
the American
And
public,
particularly,
the dumb
we really
fucks
need
in
to
this
know,
country.
what were the legal standards applied? Did they use probable cause? Did they use reasonable articulable suspicion? Or did they have no individualized suspicion and just were gathering up information? And that's beyond the investigation regarding Arctic Frost. I don't expect you to have that information today, but if you can help get that information so we can understand the extensive nature of this continued misuse of 702, it would be very particularly helpful.
And it was extensive. Yes, Congressman. Thank you.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
I have a UC, Mr. Chairman.
And that is the gentlelady from Texas.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record. El Paso airspace reopened after FAA quickly rescinds 10-day flights restriction. This was published by the Texas Tribune.
Oh, shit.
February 11th, 2026. And it says it was because of an impasse with the DOD over the use of unmanned military aircraft and not triggered by Mexican cartel drones.
Without objection.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I didn't hear.
Wait. Let me rewind that again.
Over the use of unmanned military aircraft.
You notice he keeps interrupting her so people can't fucking hear what she's saying, this motherfucker.
and not triggered by Mexican cartel drones.
Okay, what did she say? God damn it.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record. El Paso airspace reopened after FAA quickly rescinds 10-day flights restriction. This was published by the Texas Tribune on February 11th, 2026, and it says it was because of an impasse with the DOD over the use of unmanned military aircraft and not triggered by Mexican cartel drones.
Without objection.
Unmanned military aircraft.
Wow.
The second round of questions. I assume that's not happening.
And
I
he
just
kept cutting her
The
off.
Department of Defense, I think, was wanting to use the fucking commercial airport for their shit, which, you know, they're using human shields.
I'd be able to assure the members, certainly on my side, if not both sides,
That's not a point of order.
no, that every member will get 5 minutes with the witness.
Fucking
We'll
Jim
give you 5
Jordan.
minutes for each.
Yeah, you get 5 minutes.
I can't
With the
stand
witness.
it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Okay.
He should be in jail.
Look at it. What are you gonna do with that gavel there, Mr. Jordan? The way you're holding it. What are you gonna? What the fuck is that? Is that like your Rabbi Shmuley lookalike?
There's a kid in Ohio.
Like,
that
this
took
is.
his life
He's holding it like it's a pipe.
When he runs his campaign, he runs like his life depends on it, because there's some people that can't get the okay because this one particular kid that took his life was a very powerful people that you don't want to mess with. And they won't give the okay because he's a congressman. So when he's running for his life.
Well, I mean, hey, there's a lot of families impacted by the guy. You know, you can only let them be the ones to hold people accountable, not other people.
You're right. Wait.
He was harassed down at Ohio State, and he took his life because of that piece of shit.
Crazy.
Wait, don't you guys remember when Bondi first came out? Like AM said, she literally on the record that it was Mexican cartels. Drones, and know damn well that it was the military, and that's why that woman put that in the record, because she came up there lying about that cartel bullshit.
Yep.
Right. I'm going to smuggle shit, illegal shit in your country. And I'm going to start fucking flying drones to and causing problem with aviation. Yeah, that fucking makes sense.
Yep. Gross.
Well, just like when they say, "Oh, we went to the hearing to pick them up," and it's like, you know, people who are in here smuggling rugs and people don't go to their fucking the goddamn amnesty hearings in the courthouse. They don't give two shits.
Yeah, it's gross. Now, Jess, since we've got a pause here, I'm going to start it back up here in a minute. But did you want to add something since you've came up? Did you want to say anything, Jess? She may not even know she's up here. Time Lady Jess, you're muted. Well, I'll just move along. Okay. Back to the perjurer. You're a perjurer.
I want to begin by acknowledging the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific abuse who are in the room with us today. I want to thank all of you for your bravery in speaking out. And I want to say that you and the other survivors of these heinous crimes...
I represent the people of the United States.
It is shocking that the department did not redact the names of Epstein's victims, but it did redact the names of their abusers. I don't know whether this was done out of incompetence or whether it was deliberate and malicious.
Oh, come
Either
on.
way, it is completely unacceptable.
You know
Even more
why.
troubling, the DOJ has failed to bring any of these perpetrators to justice. Instead, it has engaged in a relentless pursuit of Donald Trump's perceived enemies. I want to focus on just one example. The Attorney General of my home state of New York, Tish James. This DOJ has been hell-bent on securing an indictment against Ms. James for something, anything, simply because she held Donald Trump's companies accountable for years of financial fraud. And indeed, the department manufactured an investigation against her for alleged...
Oh, for the record, grand jury did not indict the people that did that video saying that you don't have to obey an unlawful order. Y'all remember that when he was going after the Democrats?
You mean the senators?
Yes. Yeah, the fucking NASA guy, Mark Kelly and Slotkin.
So they threw that out.
Yep,
So that's
grand
been thrown
jury.
out. Good.
Which is a big deal, like, because a prosecutor can get a grand jury to do anything.
Right.
They could get the grand jury to go to the Epstein Island and throw a party if they wanted to. But they couldn't get them to do that to these Democrats. It was because it was bullshit. Anyway, it just, I don't know why it made me think of that, but here we go.
Alleged, quote, mortgage fraud. But the U.S. attorney leading the investigation, Eric Siebert, a Trump appointee, refused to bring charges against Ms. James because there was simply no evidence. Unfortunately, a prosecutor who refuses to do Trump's bidding has no place in this DOJ, so Mr. Siebert was forced out. Trump could not contain his fury. fury that he expressed to you in a social media post addressed to you by name. I'm sure you've seen it. Quote, I fired him and there is a great case, he wrote to you about Mr. Siebert. Then we moved down. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. And obviously, you followed that order. Lindsay Halligan, Trump's former defense lawyer who had never prosecuted a case in her life, was installed to replace Mr. Siebert, and it was clear that part of her mandate was to go after Ms. James. Halligan immediately sought an indictment, which her court dismissed because Halligan was illegally put into the role. But your department was undeterred, and not once, but twice, it tried to indict Attorney General James in separate courts. Both grand juries rejected you and refused to indict her. It is practically unheard of for a grand jury to refuse an indictment. In 2016, it happened in just 6 cases.
That's funny. I just said that.
150,000 offenses. And you had it happen twice in the same week in 2 different courts. That must have been
loser.
And now there are reports that you are continuing to investigate her. The amount of resources that have gone into targeting Attorney General James, months of investigations, multiple failed indictments, is astounding. Since your own prosecutors told you that there is not enough evidence to support a conviction, it's clear that you were going after her simply because she held President Trump accountable and he wants to punish her. And she is just one name on a long list of Trump political enemies the DOJ is reportedly targeting. From Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook at the Federal Reserve to James Comey, numerous Democratic members of Congress, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Democratic officials in Minnesota, Chris Krebs, Miles Taylors, and more. And those are just the ones we know about. In contrast to these politically motivated investigations, grasping at something they can charge their enemies with, we now have concrete evidence of disgusting criminality revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
That's going to be a big 0, sir.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
I answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
ridiculous.
The
Answer the
theatrics are
question the way I asked
ridiculous.
it.
Chairman
How many have you
Jordan, I'm not
indicted?
going to get in the gutter with these people,
How many
but
have
I'm
you-
going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting.
time.
And you can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Reclaiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and
And
stop
he
the clock and
indicted-
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will get in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York.
If she was
We will
on a
give you 2 more
TikTok
seconds to do
panel,
that.
we would say in the comment section that she is crashing the fuck out.
But when you ask a question, the witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
As a lawyer, I just want to point out, if the facts are on your side, you argue the facts. If the law's on your side, you argue the law. And if neither is on your side, you pound the fucking table. And that's exactly what she's doing because she knows she has neither the law nor the facts.
I don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaim-
Not on our
The
time. No
question
way.
is
And I
too
told you about
long.
that, Attorney General, before you
You
started.
don't tell me
No, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said
She's
that
like, I've been around Trump a long time. I'm not used to things that are long.
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right.
Reclaiming my time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman
None
has
of the perpetrators have been
expired.
brought to justice, but enormous resources
Time
have been
of the
dedicated to
gentleman has
pursuing Trump's
expired,
enemies.
and
It's
obviously
clear that
there was-
under your leadership, the Department of Justice
There was
no longer
no
works
question
for
in
American
there.
people. It works
Order
for
respond
Donald
to.
Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
I think our next
No,
question,
bitch.
Madam President, is going to give you time
Exactly,
to
no,
respond to
bitch.
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. So
That's
we'll turn to
right.
The gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bonda, you go right ahead.
What I want to see a Democrat do is ask her a question, a simple question from the start, and for their entire time sit there and reclaim their time when she refuses to answer. So we get to listen to that the whole time because we know that's what she's going to do. Fucking crazy. She is insane.
Time is yours.
Time is
Thank
mine.
First, he brought up the president saying they
Oh,
indicted.
the fucking, who was that from Texas that gave her his time? Who was that? What a little
Ooh,
bitch.
that was
Let me
Nadler.
see.
$5 minutes.
Ms. Bonda, you go right ahead.
Hold on.
Oh,
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam Attorney General, is going to give you time to respond to
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. So we will turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bondi, you go right
Well,
ahead.
who the fuck is
The time is yours.
Who was it?
Thank you.
He never
First,
said the name.
he brought up
That piece of
President saying
shit.
They indicted me
Yeah,
twice.
I rewound
They
it.
sure did. They tried to
He didn't say the name. He just said the gentleman from Texas. He should have said his name. Say my name, bitch.
impeach him twice, and you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought
my
foreign
God.
interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016.
That's a lie.
Have you apologized to President
That's a
Trump?
lie.
Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated?
She says that with a straight face. They
my
put
God.
motherfuckers in jail for lying about their connections to Russia. What's she talking about? There was no foreign interference.
In those
Whatever.
impeachment hearings against Donald
Lie.
Trump. You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This
Oh, my
administration
God.
released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents.
And then
He
disobeyed
is the
it.
most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them,
Wow.
none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump.
I know why, bitch. Because they were still going through the fucking court cases. That's why.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right
That's
now.
pretty good, though.
The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans'
You can tell she don't know what
401ks
the
and
fuck
retirement
she's Listen
savings
to her.
are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
Wait, whoa. Let's not talk about your children being raped by these people.
Right.
Let's talk about the stock market. Look at it.
Right.
As long as you're making money, your children can be raped and we'll do nothing about it.
Right.
I would have to get
And
up
Bondi.
and I'd have to say, I'd tell the Mr. Committee I have to exit the room because the bottom line is this fucking cunt will not people. She
Somebody
indicted.
needs to go over there and shit right in front of her on that desk is what they need to do. Be like, oh, I thought we were being MAGA. Because that's what MAGA does.
That's right. And
And smear it on the walls.
That's right.
Be like, here, since you're full of shit, you won't even smell it.
We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Are you, she said, are you kidding? What does the Dow have anything to do? What do you mean it has everything to do with your children being raped? What the fuck?
Mr. Jordan, committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds
shit.
added to my time?
The committee will
Mr.
be in
Gooden,
order.
he's
time
the
belongs to
asshole.
The gentleman from Texas, Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year. National median rents have fallen to a 4-year low thanks to Donald Trump. That's why they want to focus on Epstein and our most transparent president in the nation's history. The murder rate, as I said, has plummeted to a 125-year low thanks to Donald Trump. For an unprecedented 9 straight months,
Unprecedented.
there were 0 illegal border crossings at the southern border. That's what we should be focused on.
There are 0 illegal border crossings. Did she really just say that? Okay.
All the great work that this president has done and will continue to do to keep America safe and to make Americans safe.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. I agree with
Oh,
you
my-
totally. I think you've done a fine job. I think that Democrats, in fact,
Somebody check this man's hard drive. He looks like somebody you should keep your child away from. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, oh, shiny. Oh my fucking God, the Dow is so high, forget the child grapes. Exactly. That's what Pam Body. What is, this is the Twilight Zone, y'all. This is fucking crazy. Let me see if there's somebody else. Guys, if you're one up here, you're welcome to hit request, and every now and then we can stop and make fun of and point at Pam Bondi because it's fun.
Should be apologizing to the Epstein victims for doing nothing during the 4 years that they were running the government. We did not hear about this, and it took you and President Trump to finally provide transparency and give answers to the American people, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you also for standing up for truth today and for fighting back against the theatrics and the time waste that you will
I'm going to search his name in the Epstein files.
I want to apologize on behalf of my colleagues on the left. They're not all that bad, but they've got to put on a show. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. And I would like to. I'd say 40, even 40 is 80 seconds. The clock says
God,
40,
imagine being one of the fucking rape victims in that room listening to this dude say that shit.
80 seconds.
Gross.
Since I was so rudely interrupted, and I'll give all 80 seconds to Chairman Jordan.
And I just look to the Attorney General if she has anything to add.
Do what, Butch?
One of my family was in that room. The bottom line is, I would have been standing up, and they would have been hauling me out. And like I say, it would have been brutal. Like I say, these fucking people.
Crazy, man.
And the whole thing of it is, none of these mega actually even watch these fucking hearings. A lot of them don't even watch it because they're so uneducated. They don't even know that this shit goes on. But they'll just say, like I say, they'll latch on to the Dow's over 50,000, even though they ain't got one piece of stock. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking crazy. Yeah. Right. They simp for billionaires all the time. You have to push the button, bitch.
All right, the chair now recognizes, the gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would note that Mr. Nadler's question has not yet been answered, but I want to start by asking that out of respect for the American public and the Epstein survivors, some of whom, of course, are here today, that we can have a transparent conversation and get the public the answers they deserve. I want to briefly direct your attention to two documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second email, Epstein writes to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him, adding, I don't like records of these conversations. So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is either a yes or no answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar, there were 3 million pages, of course, with that email, but of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million, the redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. I believe you view them, if not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
But could I finish, please? I'm not being rude, please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30.
Bitch, you are being rude. What are you talking about? She's screaming, I'm not being rude.
30 seconds.
Oh my God.
Filibuster.
Well, you didn't give a yes or no answer, so let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. And glancing at the documents, that proves that's not the case. In July, your department issued a memo stating that it had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and all our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers. So it would take many months to actually have the time. I only had a few hours. I think the transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really possible.
Whoa. Did you have to wait to get a computer?
It is not possible to really go in. I did, however, see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were blocked out. Now, the Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of this House voted for and the president signed, requires the department to release everything except that it needs to be redacted to protect the victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony we have received. I am concerned that this act has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even though he is mentioned thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways. I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases raises a lot of doubt about the department. State and local police in Minnesota got a court order to get access to the crime scene to be sure evidence would be properly preserved by federal agents. But they took the agents defied the court order, and in a departure from general policy, the DOJ is not collaborating with state and local law enforcement on these homicides. So I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really does nothing to bring credit to your department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing.
It is a circus.
I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order,
wow.
She posted nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
And yet now, all of a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after
Biden,
Attorney General, she doesn't just get to
Committee will be in order.
You know what's crazy is that lady asked a very simple question. I thought it was a fair question and made fair statements and assessments about why people may not trust her. And this bitch goes absolutely nuts and accuses her of all kinds of shit. That is fucking crazy to me.
Right.
She
it's
is.
just like you say. A cover game. Like I say, this is just all the dramatics for the public. But like I say, the people like you and me that watch it see what a sham it is. But the people that really aren't watching it, where they're not gaining anything, don't watch this kind of shit. They don't have no idea how even government works.
This is crazy,
anyways,
man. It's crazy to watch.
Hey, Lib, I see you around again. I don't know. That one time, ever since that I checked your box when I was sending some shit, and your shit stayed checked. I don't know why it did, but you got I was sending to 20 different people, and I think you got 20 of the things I sent. And ever since then, every time I come in here, I see you. Because Mara asked me, he said, "Aren't you following Lib?" I go, "Yeah, I'm following him." He goes, "Well, you're not on there." I said, "I don't know." I go, "No, we're following each." And then, anyways, you're red again, so I'm going to follow you again. Give me a follow back, because my thing, like I say, goes through. I got a thing that kicks it out if people don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't follow people that basically, you know what I'm saying, that I don't engage with. Because otherwise I'd be bombarded with people following me. But anyways, so I give you a follow. And I don't know why it keeps turning red, but,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't, I've had people I had one person follow me 7 times in one day. Same person. Because
Are you following me though?
I doubt it. I don't follow a lot of people. I follow
you were.
maybe 100 people.
Yeah, me and Mar were next, and that's when he said, he goes, "How come you unfollowed you?" And I said, "Where do you see that?" He goes, "Go on this thing. I think you only follow 120 some people." I said, "I don't know. I've been following him for quite a while," but then I seen what he's saying is right, because I was next to him. But anyway, all right, bro, I gotta roll. Take care.
All right, man.
Like I say, only way I see you is I gotta scroll and catch your live. Before I used to, it would show me up on the top there, that you were live. But I don't get that anymore.
Yeah, well, that group has unalived my show, so it's that's why I just don't give a fuck anymore. And motherfuckers coming in here. That bitch hadn't been up on this fucking panel since I blocked everybody. And then all of a sudden she comes up here starting all that crap. They're just it's so transparent to me. Crazy.
Right.
I'm not even going to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore.
Right, because a lot of people signed up and they're outing people, like I say.
Yeah, well, they can kiss my ass, all of them. They can kiss my ass. Because, I mean, honestly, I don't see the show being able to continue very much longer because I've got to make some money. And, Democrats, they don't want to, these Ziocrats, they don't want to actually fix anything. They're playing a fucking game too.
Right, exactly. Like I say, it's coming down to where, like I say, we'll see what happens if it gets to the midterms. But the bottom line is, I don't think it can go that far. I think something got to break. But if it doesn't, like I say, because they're taking people out of high offices in other countries that we're not even hearing about.
But they won't do it here. And Zio, you're right. Somebody did send for her. There's fucking coincidence, my ass. And then you heard what she said right before I gave her the boot. Oh, you sound really paranoid. Bitch, you are parroting the shit that they kept saying to me over and over and over and over and over again. And then I got people who I believe are friends just playing right into this shit. So fuck them all. I just don't give a shit. They aren't entitled to my time or to me. So fuck them.
Right. All right, Lib. Have a good one, man. I'll talk to you.
We'll see ya. Peace.
All right. Take care. Thanks for having me.
I
All
have
right,
a point
bro.
of order, Mr. Chairman.
Take it easy, man.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Lady can say her point of order.
When a witness attacks...
Not a valid point of order. You got to state...
She hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
and what rule are you referring to?
Without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and instead is attacking
that is not even close
members
to a
of the
point of
committee.
order. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Wow.
In August of last year, I sent a letter.
I mean, look at that. This motherfucker let the witness attack this woman and wasn't going to let her respond at all. And then bitched about it. That's crazy to me.
Just asking for assistance and seeking compensation for the town of Lac du Flambeau. Town of Lac du Flambeau is in my district, and your office replied that it was an ongoing matter and unable to comment on it, which I understand. That's just fine. But I want to set this up just as a reminder. So 3 years ago, it was at this time of year that 4 roads were blockaded in the town of Lac du Flambeau, and the temperature was 25 below zero. People had to park their cars at a neighbor's place, take the snowmobile across the lake to get their car, and then be able to drive into town. There were people 80 and 90 years old that could not, were very concerned that they'd be able to get emergency medical services. And the perpetrators of this, the tribe out there, they demanded compensation from the town. I would call it extortion. They ultimately got $600,000 from the town of Lac du Flambeau. The unfortunate part, Mr. Chairman, is that the Biden administration took the side of the perpetrators who closed those roads off, and the Biden administration made it clear to the town of Lac du Flambeau that we are not on your side in regards to this. Well, fortunately, there was a federal judge that said, no, this is wrong, what happened, and these roads should be left open, they should continue to be left open. My question to you is, are you willing to work with my office and with the town of Lac du Flambeau to further investigate this matter and seek compensation from the tribal government after their extortion of $600,000 from this little town in northern Wisconsin?
Congressman, you do a great job representing your district. And yes, we would more than welcome working with you, and we are familiar with that investigation.
Mr. Chairman, I would just add, we're highlighting these miscarriages of justice in the previous administration. This is just another one of those small examples, no different than the Catholic Diocese in Richmond and many others that you have retold so many times. But here's another instance of what they did to a small town and nearly bankrupted them as a result of it. Fortunately, there was a federal judge that saw through it and has fixed it. I want to move on to fraud enforcement. You've established a National Fraud Enforcement Division, is that correct, Madam Attorney General?
Yes, Congressman.
Has this new division begun any investigations and getting after those individuals that have committed the rampant fraud we've seen, like in Minnesota?
Well, it's not only rampant in Minnesota, it's rampant throughout this country. Much of it is in California, as you know, and other places. Yes, we are working on it actively. Our criminal fraud division has been working on it. We are...
For the record, I want to point out that people who were not tribal members went and built the fucking road across tribal land. That's what he's talking about the road getting shut down. And the tribe said, you guys are here and this isn't even your fucking land. That's where all that came in. But of course, he's not going to give you any context. These are colonizers, settlers, wanting to take somebody's land by just squatting on it and building their shit on it illegally. And then the government does something about it. And they're like, you can't shut that down. We're allowed to take their land that isn't ours.
expanding that. It was the vice president's idea to come up with this amazing separate fraud division, which we are establishing and going nonstop, not only to expose the fraud in Minnesota, but around the country. It's taxpayer dollars that have been stolen from the American people, and we are committed to recovering that money and holding those people accountable.
Mr. Chairman, I would remind everyone here, why did this happen in Minneapolis? Why did federal law enforcement have to go to Minneapolis? Because of industrial scale fraud. It was
because Trump was mad because he kept losing.
Said, this is industrial scale fraud that's going on in Minnesota at this point. I sent a letter to our governor in Wisconsin. We're right across the border there. My district is only 20 miles from the city
Check his hard drive too.
And I asked him to open the books for a federal audit on food stamps and Medicaid. Don't you think it would be a good idea for every governor to do that at this point?
It protects the citizens, and I can't understand why that's not happening. And yes, I do think that's a great idea. It's happening around this country. And when our new division with Colin McDonald is established, it's established. When Colin is confirmed, he's amazing. I think you've met with him, Mr. Chairman.
I was feeling lonely. We can come up here and bitch about these people together. This crazy lady.
We saw that coming, with this crazy shit. You still can't stop being fucked with. And let me tell you for the record, your numbers, even though they're lower, they're much better. I've seen a lot of lives, and those numbers are low, like in the teens and 20s. So whatever TikTok is doing, you're still, you're having over 50 people. That's pretty good for some days.
Shit,
and other lives have 600 and 700 for some strange reason.
Yeah, I don't get it. I had one week where my average was almost 200, and then the next week was like 30. But
that's part of that inconsistent bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
I did find out a lot of new things that they've done because they've changed a lot. When you first start your show, within 30 minutes, get to 10K likes, because it does something with your live and the algorithm. Also, they're telling you now they have the gifting goal, but TikTok gives you a flash gifting goal. The flash gifting goal gives you a certain amount of time to hit that goal, and that whenever you hit that goal, that makes you go up in the rankings, or it increases your live to be put out.
Now, do you see the flash goal when it happens on mine? Because I used it.
You're the only one who sees it, but then you can put it where we can see it. I was just in another live, and the guy was teaching us, and it flashes, every now and then it'll come up. Intermittently, it'll come up, and the host has to see it and put it up there and tell us to do that.
But see, I'm on live studio. It doesn't pop anything up for me. I don't ever see those. Yeah, it's totally different. So I don't even know. That's why I asked if you've seen it on my live, because I've never
seen it on your live, and I didn't.
Yeah, and I think that's why.
But no, he said you have to go into your settings. And it's something you have to do with the goal, because the goal you're setting is just for your goal. It has no timer on it. Oh, it actually gives you 3 hours and 25 minutes to hit your donuts. Do you see that?
Yes. But it's
the flash goal is different, and the TikTok sets what they want you to ask for gifts, and then separate individuals have to do it. It can't be one person hitting that goal. It has to be several different people, and then TikTok does something to your ranking or to your people getting in.
Yeah, well, so the live studio doesn't have any. There's no setting or option for flash goal.
So you're missing out on that, because that's supposed to be very important. As far as he said, that of course the likes and the shares are good. He said the shares do matter. He said, but that whenever TikTok is interacting with you with the gifting goal, and they do something else, and whenever you hit those, that's when your daily rankings will go up and all that other bullshit. And that way, according to him, the algorithm will get more people to come into your live. But with you, your live already had people in it, and it's obviously blocking, because if Butch said he has to keep following you, they're taking your followers and unfollowing them for you. Just like with me, I got 3 messages from you that you've accepted my request. I never requested anything from you. So whatever they're doing it automatically now without people knowing it. So if Butch is following you and then he goes back and he's not following you anymore, they're unfollowing him from you. And I've seen them do that before. Right.
Unless he has a setting that automatically unfollows people that don't follow him back. I don't know if there's a setting for that or not. But
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is weird because I'll see somebody like 7 times, like this person followed you.
Right.
So they're just,
And then well, I had to unfollow most people because of the whatever they flag they had, and now I'm staying on panels longer. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I was.
Whoever was following me in that group that we know about that just kind of come in here today. Somebody was obviously monitoring me, and every time I go on a panel, they were reporting. So I said, okay, let me see how this works. So
that's crazy.
You obviously still have a mole within your bunch because what happened today was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was stupid. I've been watching you guys for a while. Bitch, you ain't even been in here 15 minutes. What are you talking about?
That's what I said. That's what I said. He can see when you came in, bitch. You do know that.
Yeah, I don't know. And children are getting graped, and let's really, really, really dig into this word here.
But your friend said, Jules said semantics do matter. Okay.
I mean, sure, if you're trying to paint me out like a fucking rapist or a misogynist, maybe, I guess I could see that. But that's whatever. That was fucking weird, though. That was really weird. Because I haven't really dealt with, because fucking JD the other day came in. JD was.
I thought you blocked him. You blocked him.
Yeah, he came in under a different name and he pretended to be MAGA. Oh. And then as he's leaving, because I could recognize the voice, like, I could tell it was somebody I've talked to before, and then he said he was JD, and I'm like, I don't, because he was the one that day when all this shit with Paula happened. He come up there and he's like, "Why are you on a crusade against women?"
Right, I remember.
Yeah, fucking weird. Yeah. These people are weird.
Oh, I have to tell you something in the writings because what's going to blow your mind with some of these people. It's just like this is insanity. And I have been expecting for this to be completely sniped. And when I go on panels with certain panels and try and cuss people out, they don't even bother to give me a warning anymore. Only on yours.
I'm surprised you've been up as long as you have been.
Maybe they got tired.
They're like, well, you know what? Let her go because she drives everybody nuts, and then they get all butt hurt, and maybe that'll help us.
Or the people in your comment section who maybe are the ones doing the reporting.
Yeah.
You kick their asses out. You happen to kick them out, and they got wind that their friend was banished. And, people are just sneaky. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can be. These people are better actors than Pam Bondi. These people that are around you. Because it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is weird that the fucking, because there's one America Amen. According to some of these people who are, I think, fake Zios, they're actual Zios pretending not to be. They said that this dude is actually a liberal. He's just been faking this whole time, and he's like one of the worst. He's like one of the worst, MAGA. But it turns out he may be an actual liberal.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So like, are they just like what are we doing here? And then I don't know. But I've all but given up on the show, honestly, because it's
the show in and of itself is a threat to this very app now because of the content and the
because think about what we were talking about in that moment, and then all of a sudden I hadn't seen these motherfuckers, hadn't talked to him in forever, and then all of a sudden they got to come up here. Oh my God! You said stolen. You said victim.
Isn't that weird? Trying to make an argument just to argue for what?
Yeah.
You don't make any sense.
It's like, because if you say that, we're gonna have to say that you're a P3DO liberal and a misogynist, and we're gonna spread that around too.
Yeah.
Come on, Hobie, make your video.
You Telosian bitch.
I don't know what it is. Crazy. But I mean, hey, I had like fucking months of rest from all of that mentally, because they hadn't been, but then you start talking about it again, and all of a sudden here they are.
Back. And they come back.
To
Start
daddy.
that shit. And look at the first one you had to drop. He was really literally trying to get the live taken down.
Yeah.
That first one that was just out.
Oh,
just
right. Yeah, he was weird.
Wasn't he weird? But that's how they send their it's like soon as you come on, they'll look for your topic. But you didn't even have anything about that place. I don't even know how we got on that subject. Your topic wasn't about that.
Oh, because Venezuelan oil was being sold to. We stole from Venezuela to fucking send some of it to Israel.
Anytime Chip and I can be on the same side.
It's a good day, though. I mean, that's, I mean, look, it's common ground, common cause, or whatever. Like he always says, make strange bedfellows.
Right. And the bottom line is, we talked about, it's the deliverance of the approach. His deliverance is diplomatic, it's calm, it's reasonable. You can say that I'm absolutely insane, that's fine. But why is your reaction the same with each of our deliverances? You still have the same spinning your head around, spitting up green pea soup, and
The Exorcist.
Right, The Exorcist. You still go crazy.
Fuck me!
That's right. I was like digging yourself in the twat with your cross.
Oh my God, I remember that shit. That was wild.
That was
wild
hideous,
movie.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's how they act when we say truthful things. Don't let these people tell you that what you know to be true isn't true, and that they keep trying to say don't be anti the S word. No, fuck that shit. We're not anti the S word because we're not dealing with S people.
Right. We're dealing with sicko, fucking pervert, demonic motherfuckers.
Yes.
I mean, really, that the shit they're able and willing to do is mind blowing.
But think about this: in the stuff that they released from the files, that's not half of the sick shit that they're covering up for. Can you listen? They had a picture. Now I don't know if this was real, of chicken legs or turkeys and chickens. And they had a baby on the platter. Did you see that shit?
I saw it. That's actually from a movie. It's a picture from a horror flick or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't real.
I can't deal with it. Some of that shit I can't deal with. And I know some of it is going to be AI, but for the fact that we have to question whether it's real or not because these people are so fucking sick, it just behooves me.
That it could be real. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, let me pull something up. I downloaded it yesterday.
I have a lot of stuff that I tried to send to your it's one guy. He goes hard on that little place. He goes vicious, and so Candace Owens is doing that now, going hard. But they're making you see the truth. Where you can't deny that what they're saying is true. They'll call them nuts. They'll call them crazy. They'll call them conspiracy there. But they won't ever.
You're paranoid. You sound paranoid, liberal.
Right. That's what you were called today, paranoid. But did she tell you were a liar? Did she tell you were a liar?
I don't think so. I dropped her before she could.
Because they can't tell you you're a liar. They can't say you're a liar.
This picture here. Now, you tell me who you think this motherfucker is in this picture. This is in the Epstein files.
Uh-oh. Have you seen all the pictures?
Who does that look like?
Benjamin.
Uh-huh.
That looks like Milkowski. Is a 2-year-old sucking his 1-inch wiggly worm?
You can't tell. It's, redacted, but that does look, in fact, to be
Milkowski.
So
they are so ugly, and it's never good-looking men that's doing. It's always some troll that looked like he crawled out of Satan's ass that's doing this. Who needs it?
Maybe that's why they have to become like billionaires so that they can, either pay for it or pay somebody else to steal it. Well,
I didn't know that they were selling the Venezuelan oil to that country. I thought they were selling. I don't know where I thought he was selling it. But they said Trump got 500 million or billion, and they put it in an offshore account. Have you heard anything about that since?
Yes, they claim that they took all of that money and put it back in and gave it back to Venezuela. That's the claim, but I don't believe them because they also, it's been reported that they were selling to Venezuela, but then Venezuela came out and they're like, that's fake news. So
yeah.
You know, who fucking knows? Because now you got them claiming that ours Mexican cartel drones. That's why we had to shut it down for 10 days. And it's like, you look at me and tell me I'm stupid instead of saying all that, because if I'm supposed to believe you.
Now we're finding out somebody overturned that, and that 10-day moratorium has been shut down. Who did that?
I think the government did, the FAA. Yeah.
FAA did that?
Yeah, well, the Trump administration. Yeah, revoked it, because I don't know what they were doing, but you shut that commerce off.
Called and told them the numbers. You're going to lose this much money if you shut this down for 10 days.
Or he, blackmailed somebody. Be like, hey, I've still got the document that's got your name on it, bitch. Do what I say.
So now that your new Democrat president, Gavin Newsom's going to be, they've already crowned him. What are you going to do?
Well, I'll be bitching about him too. If he's not doing a bad job, then I'll root for him. But
I'm not rooting for his ass.
I don't have any hope.
Did you see what he said in the interview with he did an interview with somebody. He threw Kamala Harris under the bus, and he was
I didn't see that.
It was recently. Black TikTok went crazy on him. They were going, what the fuck you throwing up? Gavin Newsom talked about he did something that Kamala Harris. It was who was the interview with? It was somebody controversial as well.
Let me see.
I think it was a MAGA. That was last week, I think.
Tim Tampon Walls is throwing Kamala under the bus. That was in July.
No. This is Gavin Newsom. Put Gavin Newsom throwing Kamala Harris on. Let me see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, I Googled that, but I can't find it. Let me look through X. Oddly enough, they often have a lot of these clips available. Let's see. Newsom, Kamala under bus.
Yeah. Something like that.
Here's how you know false information coming out. She's been lying on. Okay, whatever, bitch. Here, I want to play this video real quick. I don't know what this is, but it looks funny. Heads up! Oh my god. Oh, don't! Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Anyway,
and your numbers went.
Do what?
Your numbers went up.
When I was playing the stuff.
Yeah. I noticed that. Okay, wait a minute. So Gavin Newsom defends sticking by. No, that's not it. It was just recently. Oh, why Gavin Newsom is calling out Harris for saying ICE. So it was something around that. So they said 3 weeks ago, but he was talking to somebody. But he was talking to that piece of shit Ben Shapiro, that little twerp, that dweeb. So put Gavin Newsom, Ben Shapiro. Okay. That he was having a sit down with that piece of Zionist shit. That troll, that goddamn Keebler elf. And and that's when people went crazy on Gavin Newsom. I think it's from 06 to 17.
The thing not to listen to.
No, that's not it.
Ben Shapiro and Gavin Newsom
with flags waving into the conversation.
This notion of genocide.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Israel did not commit a genocide in Gaza. There's no.
Oh, Zao Talks live content contains themes that some may find uncomfortable. I gotta drop you. All right, okay. We'll see you, Zio.
You get more numbers anyway.
We'll see it. All right, live visibility restricted for 10 minutes. Cool.
No standard by which Israel committed a genocide in Gaza, just on a factual level.
Just as a legal and factual level.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of this?
My opinion is, I understand the tendency for people to make that, to assert that.
Why?
On the basis of the images and the proportionality.
Doesn't mean genocide.
No. And by the way, I agree with you.
And international and proportionality doesn't mean that if you kill my child and I then kill 7 criminals.
Agree with me.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the But I understand that tendency on the basis of trying to reconcile
Listen to
the
this,
proportionate nature of how the war was ultimately conducted and the devastation.
I have a question. Why do you feel the need to create a permission structure for that sort of stuff? I mean, meaning it's not true.
Oh my God.
Why not just say it's not true?
Yeah, look, I don't know the definition, or I don't know the legal threshold. That's not my opinion, so I don't share that opinion as it relates to genocide. I not agree.
And this is the guy that they're going to put in front of you and say that you have to vote for him because he's the only viable option. That's what they're going to say. I don't think that can get pushed around. Yeah, this fucking, let's see here.
Run with, flags waving into the conversation.
This notion of genocide.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Israel did. Why not just say it's not true?
Yeah, look, I don't know.
Israel of committing a genocide that now puts Israel in the position of
was sick, and we were clear in our condemnation, these people like me, as it relates to what Hamas did and that act of barbarism and terrorism.
Yeah, but there's a difference between deliberate terrorism and wartime collateral damage.
Why is this, like, this guy is such a fucking
October
asshole.
7th, the way he talked about the palace conversation, it doesn't surprise me. And I did not think it was proportionate.
Okay.
And I thought it was overwhelming, and the devastation and destruction breaks my heart.
Okay, so you're president of the United States. Somebody invades from Mexico. They take several thousand American citizens.
Oh, motherfucker.
And by the way,
they hold them all the way until the end of the war. Until the end of the war, they're hostages being
Bitch,
held.
we don't have Mexico under a blockade. Apples and oranges. He's like, I'm with you. I agree with you, Ben Shapiro. I'm going to get Democrats to vote for me, but I agree with you, Ben Shapiro. These people are sick. Now, I don't know about what part he throws Kamala Harris under the bus, but I also don't want to spend an hour looking for it either. Maybe I'll find it later. Either way, guys, it is after 1. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. And you know what? I may not even fucking go live tomorrow. I'm just, I got better things to do with my time. These motherfuckers they ain't going to stop. It is what it is. We'll catch you guys later. Peace. Fucking Zio pieces of garbage crap. Cocksucking motherfuckers.